They'll do it. Bring out the Zamboni. The Blues have picked up 3 out of 4 points coming out of the break, and it's a good 3-1 win tonight.
I think that we're playing the right way, and we could see it building. Like, after the first period, we didn't love part of our offensive hockey, but we thought it was coming, just like it was last night.
Let's get nasty on a Monday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 203, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Hope everyone had a great weekend. You can always take part in the show. Love to have you, in fact. Air Comfort Service text lines 314-399-9646. We also have the Scott Lee Heating Company mic drop feature via the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. That's free to use. Anything we're discussing today, whether it's Blues or Arenado or maybe some City SC notes.
Oh, baby.
Home opener over the weekend.
It's exciting. All right.
Feel free to chime in. Anything we're talking about today. Well, you're the call. Chris Kerber on the call. Right here on 101 ESPN, your Blues radio network. Blues secure that 3-1 victory over the Avalanche yesterday at Enterprise Center. The Avalanche got on the board first, and then the Blues with 3 unanswered goals. Braden Shen, Colton Parayko, Dylan Holloway make it 3-1. Blues get a victory, and Binnington made 28 saves, contributing to the Blues' 3rd win in their past 6 games. The question is, did the Blues save their playoff hopes for the time being? Because you had made the comment going in the 2 games out of the break, those were going to be the most crucial games as we look forward now to like the trade deadline and whether or not the Blues can stay in the hunt. Did they at least save their season temporarily?
It sure looks like it. I mean, they're only 5 points behind the Vancouver Canucks right now. The Canucks do have a game in hand, so it could be 7 points. But had the Blues not gotten 3 out of a possible 4 points, forget about it.
Yeah.
But this is going to be the tough part for Doug Armstrong is this team is close enough to being right there. So what do you do? What do? Do you sell and say, screw it, we're not close enough, even though 5 points is pretty freaking close? Mm-hmm. Or do you add at the deadline going, 5 points is not that far away? And then
with the other eye, of course, on the future. Because it's one eye in the present, to your question, and then it's one eye in the future. Because that also has to factor in here. If you're going to be sellers, you have to look at, obviously, who's available that other people want, other teams want, whether that's Braden Shen or maybe even Jordan Binnington. Whoever that is, you have to have one eye on how does this, if we trade Shen, how do we get better from this? And are we doing it for 5 years, 3 years, next year? It's a lot to consider.
It is. I think for the Blues, like, it's not imminent that Dvorsky will come up this year. It's not imminent that Snuggerud will have any kind of an impact on this lineup. So, from the Blues' standpoint, if they traded for somebody, brought in some NHL roster player, they're not really blocking a young guy. Mm-hmm. So, if you wanted to add, you could. And if you wanted to sell, you could also do that too. But then, to your point, like if you sell off a piece like Braden Shen or a Justin Falk or a Jordan Binnington or whatever it is, now you have to replace that player. And what are you telling your team when you're this close to the playoffs? Like point-wise.
Yeah, we don't necessarily believe in you.
Don't believe in you. Now, Doug Armstrong's done it before.
Yeah.
He traded away Paul Stastny, and they were right on the bubble of being in a playoff race, and he just like, we're just not good enough, period. Now, the Blues hadn't missed the playoffs for 2 years in a row at that point. Mm-hmm. So this would be a little more complicated probably for Army to sit here and figure out whether he's buying, selling, if they're close or not close enough. Like, this is kind of the problem for the Blues right now for the last 2 years, is they've been right in this spot. 5 points out, 4 points out, 6 points out, 4 points out. Like, so close yet so far. So this is going to be a tough one.
So I wonder if they're making this too simple or too simplistic. The Blues have yet to have a 3-game winning streak this year.
Correct.
You got 5 games. March 7th is the trade deadline. You got 5 games. Win 3 games in a row before the trade deadline. Now, you could win 3 games in a row and then lose 3 games and at the trade deadline. Then I'm still probably selling. Mm-hmm. But if I find a way out of those next 5 games to win 4 of them, to win go 3-2, and have a 3-game win streak, I may start to believe that we have an opportunity to make a push. Now, I don't want to go and win 4 and then lose the next 2, 4 in a row and then lose the next 2, but at least have a 3-game win streak at some point in this next 5-game stretch. You already got 1 down. Find me a way to win 2 more in a row. If you
Does it have to be 3 in a row?
It does.
because you're telling me that if there were 3-2 in the next 5, you're okay with it, but it has to be.
I would prefer it to be, because I think I think you have to be able, and I know in playoff series you don't have to win 3 in a row, but you might. You might run into a situation where you're down, 3-1, and you gotta run some off in order to win a series. If you haven't done that yet this year, how would you ever believe that it's going to happen come playoff time? It doesn't click like that for playoffs. It's something that you have already been building into, something that you're able to do and have shown throughout the season. If I'm Army, I need to see you have to put it out there and show me. Like, guys, all right, we're here. It's up to you. Last 5 games before the deadline. You tell me what we're doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me. We trading or are we selling or are we buying? And your play will let me know that by the next 5 games.
Yeah, so what's interesting is the next 5 games that they have, they've got, let's see here, tomorrow night is, why is it escaping me right now? Seattle. Then you got Washington, who's a real good team. Then you've got the Kings for 2 games and the Stars for 1. So you've got 3 really good opponents in the Kings, the Stars, and the Capitals. You should beat the Kraken, and the Ducks are on the 7th, which that's trade deadline day, so that's kind of irrelevant.
Done.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a tough road here.
If you can win, and that's part of it. If you can beat teams that are playoff contenders, playoff caliber teams, and put yourself in a position to show the GM, show the head coach, show the city that you are in a position to strike going forward in the right direction, then I'm okay. But if you go in these last 5 games and you just put forth an effort that looks like you don't want to be there, or you're not doing all of the things that it requires to win games, then I think you sell at the deadline. I don't know if that's too simple, but for me, if I haven't had a 3-game win streak, I don't think that I have a good enough team to make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, the
3
argument.
plus.
Yeah, I mean, look, winning 3, when you're the only team in the league that hasn't put together a 3-game winning streak, that's a problem. Now, does that ultimately change your mind or make you think that you should sell or buy? I don't think ultimately that's going to be the deciding factor. I think the deciding factor is how close are you to the playoffs? And if you add, will you make the playoffs? Or if you try to add and still miss, then that's a problem too. Mm-hmm. This is the worst spot to be in, is a team that's right on the outside looking in to where Carey's point, but the team hasn't proven that they can go on any kind of a substantial run yet.
Right.
So Doug might do nothing. I mean, he might just say, forget it, stand pat.
We've seen that too.
Well, he did it the 2019 year. He added Michael Del Zotto at the trade deadline. Del Zotto never played a playoff game for the Blues. I don't even know if he ever played a game. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. But he was an insurance policy for the defense corps, which was a smart move. The only thing Doug can do now is move off from some of the unrestricted free agents, and I think it's Radek Faksa.
Right.
I think and Ryan Suter. Like, you're not really, why bother? Just ride it out if it's my choice.
You could also see what the offers are coming in. If the offer is too good to pass up on, you take it. I'm sure Doug Armstrong does this anyways, but what is Braden Shen worth on the open market? What is Braden Shen worth to me, being Doug Armstrong? What is Justin Falk worth on the open market? What is Justin Falk worth to me? And then you look at it, and then once these offers start coming in or continue to come in, at some point, if the offers is more than what you had down for Braden Shen in terms of what he's worth to you, and then you take it. Then you take the deal. And then that way you're not playing the game of, can we get on a run? We haven't really done it yet. Army knows this team isn't good enough to make any sort of significant run. So you don't want to give up a bunch of assets. Yeah. You also don't want to pass on a really good deal.
But you also want to put your team in a playoff series if you can.
Of course, because the money. Yeah, absolutely.
Your fans deserve it too. I got a responder. We got Harrison's brother.
Bader?
Yep, that guy. repeatedly. Well, basically, I'm an awful homer. I don't know what I've said today that makes me a homer, but whatever. I can accept that.
That was last week when Canada won.
No, this is today. That's okay. But he says, we're not doing this. Jamie, you're an awful homer. Sell, sell, sell. Sell what? Like, honestly, I want you to respond through the text line, which is 314-399-9646. What are you selling? Because what you want to sell, other teams aren't buying, which is why you're selling that player to begin with. So if Braden Shen and Jordan Binnington are his definition of sell, fine. The return, though, has to match what's going out the door. You have to go find difference makers. Like Braden Shen's a difference maker in the game. He's having a really strong season this year. And Jordan Binnington, we saw the other night again, shut the door completely on the Avalanche. Frustrated the hell out of Nathan McKinnon. He was skating by, MFing him and all that. No longer were they friends from the gold medal game. But my point is, if you just want to sell Nick Leddy, okay, somebody's got to want him.
Right.
You're not going to sell Nick Leddy and eat half the contract. You're not going to sell Justin Falk and eat half the contract. Like, that's not selling. Really, It's not. It's loaning, pretty much, because you're still paying for the player.
Right.
So I just don't understand. And if you want to get rid of players that you don't think are good, who else is buying that?
Jamie, I had a quick question, something that popped into my brain, and kind of I got to do it before I forget it because you know how our brains work. Let's say you do sell at this trade deadline, and you don't make the playoffs for a third year in a row.
Yeah.
Do you go into the offseason and are you looking to move some people, some players? And you're laughing at
I'm laughing at his response.
Everybody.
Hey, sell Shen, Leddy, Falk, Suter, Kyrou, Toropchenko. Sell high on Kyrou now.
Well, that's my.
So don't have a team.
Don't have a team.
Well, no, I'm talking more in the offseason. So you sell at this trade deadline, you make moves, and you don't make the playoffs for 3 straight years. You've had 3 coaches now that were unable to get this team to do the things that are required to make a playoff run or make a playoff push or be in the playoffs. Do you then start looking at the players and say, okay, someone on this current roster is probably going to be moved? You know, and I know when things don't work well, it's the nature of the business. At some point, somebody else that we're not talking about in the offseason may be part of a blockbuster trade or a trade.
It's possible, but again, Carey, you have to find somebody who wants your players.
Right.
And I think the leverage for the Blues is at the trade deadline.
Gotcha.
Because teams that think that they have a chance to win a Stanley Cup, sometimes they think a little stupid. And they're willing to part with things because it's so close.
Right.
Whereas in the offseason, we all think we got a good team. Everybody's making the playoffs, and the really good teams, they're contenders.
We all think we're going to win the World Series. We're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Every offseason. This is our year. You're the Detroit Lions. You went 0-16, but it was your year in July.
But at the trade deadline, you know right away that there's 8 to 10 teams that are buying.
Right.
Because they're feeling it, man. They're close. We're right there.
So NYS and the Snake Pit, what does Jamie think they should do?
Listen, I think you have the phone on. If I'm Army, I'm not actively pursuing anything right now. It's still too soon. You know, these 5 games that we talked about, it's massive. You could go 1-4, and then you don't have to worry about it. You already know what you're doing. You're going to get rid of some unrestricted free agents, whoever wants to pick up a depth piece, like if you're moving on from the Radek Faksa or Oscar Sundqvist or whatever, because that's really all you're going to move on from, unless someone wants to pony up for Braden Shen or Jordan Binnington.
Right.
Then you got to listen. So for me, I'm actually going to take the Doug Armstrong approach right now and just sit back and wait. As we get closer to the 7th, I'll have a better idea of what the team should do, in my opinion, and also I can give a better explanation of what I would do. Right now, it's stand pat. I wouldn't touch a thing.
That's Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Over the weekend, we heard that the Cardinals and Astros have re-engaged over talks of Nolan Arenado. So what do we think now? Is there a deal? I mean, this saga won't go away. Do we think that a deal could get done before the season? Jamie's already shaking his head. Do we think a deal gets done during the season? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, I was at the gym this morning, and it's one of those days where I was like, a little tired, the weekend, whatever. Started my workout, and then it kicked in. All of a sudden, the testosterone's going. I ended up having a great workout, and I was sitting to myself thinking, you know what? That's the difference right there. When I had low testosterone, that ain't happening. I'd probably mailing it in, leaving, go find some other reason not to go to the gym.
You wouldn't even make it in, probably.
Exactly.
I know I wouldn't.
Exactly. And I don't have my iPod Shuffle, so that's obviously a determining factor as well. But since going to Mentality and getting on my own personal program, testosterone levels are up, confidence is high, endurance is good, stamina is good. I feel really good.
Yeah, you can't. When people ask me about Mentality or they talk to you and I about it, one, they always ask, hey, do you guys actually use Mentality? Yeah, we're there every week. Jamie usually goes to the Chesterfield spot. I usually go to the South County location. 2 locations, so they open. They make it convenient. They have different hours, so if you can't get in one day, they make it easy for you to get into the next day. But the other question we get is, okay, well, how does it work? And the thing is, when you get on their program, and all of a sudden, you don't necessarily notice it like if you were to do an energy drink and it just you have that big high, but then you crash. Mentalities get it. All of a sudden, you start to feel like you're locked in more. You feel like you got more focus. You feel like you got more energy. You feel like the weight's going up a hell of a lot easier than it did before. You actually kind of feel like you did when you were younger. That's the point, right? We want to be at our best, and if we're not our best in our everyday lives when it comes to work or at home, then what are we doing? And you're chasing supplements or things that don't necessarily work. Mentality works. So check them out. Tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you in there. And if you want to check them out online too, again, lowtusa.com. It's Mentality.
Flying down to Florida for a spring training report on 101 ESPN. Our Redbird Spring Training Report is brought to you by Rawlings. Visit the all-new Rawlings experience at Westport Plaza today.
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. John Denton shared a story over the weekend in which he talked about the Astros rekindling trade efforts for Nolan Arenado. So he detailed that the Astros renewed interest in Nolan Arenado. Multiple sources confirmed to John Denton of MLB.com on Saturday. Katie Wu of The Athletic said officially that while the Astros and Cardinals briefly talked Nolan Arenado, the stance on his no trade remains unchanged. So it doesn't look like, and she even quotes John Mozeliak, I don't feel anything is imminent. Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, said Saturday afternoon, I can't comment or chase every rumor. So I'm not saying John Denton and his sources were wrong on this. Maybe it was a situation where the Cardinals and Astros did briefly have another exchange. So he's reporting what his sources have told him. But it doesn't look like a deal is imminent, which makes sense. Because if you're Nolan Arenado, how much has really changed from over the offseason? Or a couple of months ago, I should say. Yeah, they did add Christian Walker, but is that team without Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman one you want to join? One you're really interested in joining? You know, does Christian Walker and Isaac Paredes, does that move the needle for you? I know they still have Yordan Alvarez, but I think if you're Nolan, do you wait this out a little bit as opposed to trying to catch the Astros while the window is closing? I know Houston should contend. They've contended now pretty much regularly over the last 10 or so years. They've got a really good front office. They know how to draft. They know how to develop. But if you're Arenado and you're looking at it and you want a more ready-made situation to uproot your family, it might make sense to wait this out a little bit and see if there's another team that winds up being interested at the deadline. That's my read on it.
Yeah. I guess at some point, Nolan Arenado's just got to decide, like, do I want to just keep playing for a team that doesn't want me? Or, like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Or do I just say, forget it, move on, and hope that the Astros continue to add and continue to want to be a contender? Because the Cardinals don't seem to be a team that's going to be a contender in the near future. Probably for the rest of his contract. He's going to be middling somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
He will be. And it's like, is that what he wants? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's odd that all of a sudden Houston was right back in the mix on this, and now John Mozeliak is kind of debunking some of it, and nothing has changed, and no trade. I don't know. If I'm the player, at some point you've had enough of being in a spot where you know they want to get rid of you.
Yeah.
And you just say, okay, honey, let's take the kid. Let's move. We're down here.
Right.
Houston's a pretty nice city.
Yeah.
Where does Nolan Arenado play? I mean, I know he plays in St. Louis. I know he plays third base. If he goes to Houston, because you just mentioned they signed Isaac Paredes. They signed Christian.
He would still play third.
He'd play third there for sure.
Over Isaac?
I think so, yeah. Paredes is not a great defensive. He can hit, but he's not a great defensive.
So where do you put him at then? Because he's not being a DH?
Yeah, because Yordan Alvarez is the DH.
Correct. So
right.
if you're Nolan Arenado, you're looking at a situation where I know if I stay in St. Louis, I'm playing third base. There's no one here that is better than me or to compete with me. If I go to Houston, maybe, but there's a player that they just signed that is playing that position right now.
Right.
So it kind of puts him in a position as to, I'm not playing DH in Houston because you just mentioned Yordan Alvarez, and I'm not playing first base because they just signed a first baseman as well. It kind of puts things in limbo, and there are more questions than answers.
Right.
If you're Nolan, and you're definitely not playing second base, right? So where are you going to play if you're Nolan Arenado, if that is a question or a concern? And so I think that's another thing to think about when people are like, oh, he just needs to leave. Yeah, okay, it sounds great in theory. But when he declined the trade the first time, the Astros said fast lane that I got to keep moving, and they went on and did their business to make their team better, which they did. And now you're looking at Nolan Arenado. I don't think that's I no longer think that that's a destination that he could end up at.
Yeah.
Is he going to play right field, left field?
Right.
Like, where does he play or where does Isaac Paredes play? Like, where are those two guys? You got two guys playing the same position.
Well, NY says Paredes would play second base. Altuve would go to left field.
Really?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
If they're trading
if I'm Altuve, I'm like,
Altuve's they've already talked about him going to left field.
Yeah, I mean, they could make it happen, right? They could make it happen. This is, to me, it's more about, does Arenado look at this lineup and say, yeah, this is a World Series contender? I mean, certainly so. You can't compare him to the Cardinals because that's what a lot of people are doing, right? Well, the Astros have more of a shot than the Cardinals. True, but a lot of teams do. But maybe Arenado is looking at it. If I wait long enough, the Yankees will get involved, and I'd rather go to New York and play with the Yankees than go to Houston. I don't know. This is somebody that has already rejected a trade to Houston. So as of right now, we need to just work on the premise that he doesn't want to go to Houston.
Yeah, but here's the way I look at it, too. If the Astros trade for Nolan Arenado, they want him to play third base, I would think. However, let's go one step further. If the Astros want to trade for Nolan Arenado, he has to say yes.
Right.
And in order for him to say yes, he's probably going to say, I'm playing third base. You're not trading for me, and I'm not accepting a trade to go play second base for you guys. That ain't happening.
Yeah.
So I don't see that, Carey, to your point,
Right.
I don't see that being an issue.
He would play third.
He'd play third, or he wouldn't go. It's easy.
It'd be interesting.
Well, for now, doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think if anything happens, it happens at the deadline.
Could be.
So until that point, I really don't, unless there's some sort of concrete evidence that Arenado is willing to accept a deal. I think we need just to work on the premise that he's going to be here. He's going to be here for a while. And the next time we should talk about this is the trade deadline. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We will actually dive more into what Mo said too a little bit later on in the show, because he had some really interesting quotes about Arenado and how he views Arenado right now that would indicate that Arenado's not going anywhere. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. There was the soccer game over the weekend, gentlemen. St. Louis City SC. Home opener, season opener against Colorado.
It's chilly outside, too.
I've got notes.
Oh, baby.
That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey Davis, and if you are in need of new windows, and how would you know? Maybe some cold air was creeping in during these cold winter months. It's been freezing inside of your home. You notice that the air is seeping in through the windows. You need to call Window Nation right now at 866-90Nation or visit them online at windownation.com. Right now, you can get 50% off of all window styles, and you can get zero interest and zero payments for 5 full years. You need to hurry because the deal ends February 28th. Hurry up and get those new windows. And Window Nation is a A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. The reason why I trust them, they have a 50-point inspection on every window before it leaves the factory, a 20-point inspection on every window when it's installed, and the installers specialize in windows, many of them with over 15 years of experience. Your new windows can be installed in 1 day or less, so make sure you get to them. Again, that's 50% off of all style windows, zero interest, zero payments for 5 full years. The sale ends February 28th. Reach out to them now, 866-90Nation or online at windownation.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Over the weekend, the Blues pick up 3 of a possible 4 points. A shootout loss against the Winnipeg Jets, and then a 3-1 victory against the Colorado Avalanche. We'll talk with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic at 3 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. The Blues take on the Seattle Kraken tomorrow, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Another St. Louis team played over the weekend. Your City SC squad. We're going to talk about their performance next, right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Open wide for some soccer!
Off the stick. But Betcher is there. Banged in by the Billiken, who's feeling right at home back in St. Louis. But it's premature. The flag is up.
Apple TV on the call, gents. City SC. What a match over the weekend, boys. What a match. Now, it ended 0-0, but you really had to watch it to appreciate that one.
0-0, Anthony.
0-0, excuse me.
Yeah.
0-0.
Better get it right. You're going to
Well, soccer season just started,
Yeah,
so I've got to get back into the rhythm of it all. But I got some notes, guys.
Let me know. Well, what took place? What'd you see?
Well, here's the deal, Carey. A couple of wasted opportunities for our City SC football team. Including one 2 minutes in. City players got to the net pretty consistently. As Jamie likes to say, if you're going to score in hockey, you better get in front of the net.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing in football, guys. Once you get in front of the net, you get in that box. As long as you're not offsides, good things happen.
If you're offsides, bad things happen.
Yeah. Well, you could be offsides. You just can't be the first player to play the ball. And that, unfortunately, is what Kessler did to negate
Ryan
City
Kessler?
SC's goal. No, Henry Kessler.
His brother.
His brother.
Yeah, wasted opportunity a couple of times throughout. How good is this Beecher kid? Holy smokes.
Outstanding.
He had his head on that ball all night long for City SC. Constantly taking those corner kicks and giving his team an opportunity to get one in that net, which is the size of a school, elementary school.
No, the net?
Yeah.
Why don't they score more?
Defense.
An
Excellent keeper play.
Sometimes you run into a hot keeper, Anthony.
Sometimes you run into a hot keeper, and that's exactly what happened with Colorado's goalkeeper, Zach Steffen. Unbelievable performance by him. He recorded his 30th shutout. But we had more than enough opportunities to get that ball into the net. 18-2 is what we outshot Colorado. 5 shots on goal. None went in outside of the one that had that was taken back. So that was tough, man. That was real tough.
So if you finish 0-0, both goalies get a shutout.
You're damn right. Berkey got a shutout. Didn't record a single save.
What?
Not a single save was required to earn that 16th career MLS shutout.
I'm happy because usually he's got to make 8 or 9 saves.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think this is a great thing. I think the fact that, did you guys see the ball movement? The ball movement was special at Energizer Park on Saturday night. The way that they moved in and out of that Colorado defense, got the ball consistently inside the box. They just couldn't bury it. Just couldn't get it home. Keeper was too strong for Colorado. But our boy Kyle Hebert with an absolutely remarkable play. Not only taking the legs out of Colorado's forward, but also playing the ball. All ball on that, Jamie. All ball. The Hebert looked great. I thought the defensive trio overall looked really good for St. Louis City SC. Hebert, Yarrow, Kessler himself, outstanding defensively. But if there's any criticism, Beecher, as good as he was,
he's got
to find it back in the net.
Yeah.
Our guy, Klaus, a couple of opportunities for him, too. But overall, I was really happy with the performance, gentlemen.
Well, it's early in the year, right?
It's early in the year, but when you dominate 18-2 in time of possession, or ball possession, good things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They display that sort of ball movement every single match. This City SC team is going to be really good.
I'm a little worried that they can't score, though, because this was
It's
a problem.
one game.
This is a problem they've had for a couple of seasons now, is legitimately putting offensive numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're getting that many opportunities and still not scoring, I don't necessarily like that.
Yeah.
I don't.
So the 314 says Beecher could have had a hat trick. Stronger heads by him and Klaus would have given them a few goals.
Good point. John in the Snake Pit, I just want to recognize this. John said, this is so fake. You go fast lane yourself, John. And I typically like you. But you go fast lane yourself.
Must be a new timer.
No,
He's a Colorado
John
fan.
scores.
Yeah, John is an active participant in our,
He's always
in our show.
It's been a minute since we've done the Stalter soccer notes.
Yeah.
So, a clean sheet is what it's called.
You get something for that point or something, or it goes in a column. I don't know. Something
on the table.
on the table.
Yeah, that's what the standings, the table.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's match on the table.
Yeah.
Pitch.
Kits. Boots.
Instead of cleats.
There you go.
Yeah.
People already hate your soccer notes, Anthony.
Well, you just can't please. Listen. I've said this time and time again. You can't please everyone. Some people, they tell us we don't talk soccer at all, and they get upset. And then when we do talk soccer, other people get upset. And so, do you want us to not talk it, or do you want us to talk it? You know?
They want you to move on.
To what?
Football. Is it football
I am
season
talking
yet?
football.
Nah, American football.
So this is always the issue. We don't talk enough soccer. We decided to start talking soccer. As elementary as it might be to all our, our World Cup players that are now retired living in St. Louis here.
Wow, that was a shot.
It was. Because, because they know a few more words in the vocabulary. They know what a set play is. It's like all these. Okay, great.
I fully admit I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
You talked about the corner kicks. You
Which
talked
is-
about headers, being offsides. Got to be
trying.
onside.
I'm trying.
I think you did a good job.
We are in the sports entertainment industry.
And we know everything about sports.
I talked about the ball movement. I thought it was excellent.
It was really good.
Boy, I don't know what to do, guys.
I think it's a good start. I think it was a good start for the team, like regardless of what the score ended up being.
All right.
Like they had some opportunities, and it's a good thing to see.
That was a
and
good
something
match.
they could build momentum off of.
Yeah.
We get all sorts of crazy texts. Stop talking soccer. Guys, nobody cares about the MLS.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get the other ones that, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Does nobody care about soccer,
Listen.
or does everybody just care too much? Because I feel like there's no middle.
We had a choice here. We were going to talk soccer. We were going to talk Illinois basketball. And there's no way in hell I was going to talk about what Duke did to my Illini this
Good
weekend.
point.
Well, we should actually bring that up. I have a quote.
No, we don't have hell no.
No, it's fine. We can either talk about it now, Carey, or I can bring it up and what's trending.
Yeah.
Because we got a quote from Brad Underwood. Keep shooting the threes. I want them to keep shooting it.
Oh, no.
We're not that bad of a shooting team.
Really? Well, he lost by 43 points, if my math is
man.
correct. It's a good Duke team, Anthony.
There's a real good Duke team.
Yeah.
Waterboy says, when does Anthony ever know what he's talking about? First of all, great point. Second of all, Jurassic Park series, the OJ trial.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you got me. So we'll move on. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. For those that like those soccer notes, you're welcome. For those that didn't, you go Fastlane yourself too. What's Trending is next here on 101 ESPN. I love going to the Arch Madness tournament each and every year at Enterprise Center. For me, it's one of my favorite sporting events that they do here in St. Louis. First of all, I love basketball this time of year. The conference tournaments are fun. Obviously, the NCAA tournament is fantastic, but you kind of get a taste of that with these conference tournaments. And when it comes to the Missouri Valley Conference, this tournament is usually it's often a highly competitive. A lot of local sports fans here. They've gone to one of the schools or alum of one of the schools in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. So if you want to go check out the Arch Madness tournament, I highly recommend bringing the family. It's a kid-friendly event, family-friendly event. You go downtown. You watch some good basketball that matters, and they've got great deals too. So for $104, they get their family fun pack, which is 4 single session tickets to a game. You got 4 large sodas that come with that, and 4 large popcorn. So you can take the entire family, enjoy some basketball, see a game, eat. Food, all that right there. Drinks right there at the Enterprise Center. You can do so at a really reasonable price. So check out the Arch Madness tournament. It comes to St. Louis March 6th through the 9th. And don't forget about that family fun pack.
topics in the sports world?
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending, brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, this weekend we got our first look at J.J. Weatherholt. He hit a 3-run blast. Oppo Taco. There's some people on the internet right now wanting that guy in the opening day lineup. They like what they saw. What did you guys think of J.J. Weatherholt, one of the Cardinals prospects that a lot of people are high on right now?
Extend him right now.
Yeah, start him at second.
Yep.
You don't have any second baseman. What difference does it make? People want to put Lars at center, put Brendan Donovan in left field. You don't care about Nolan Gorman anyways, right?
You don't care about him?
Nah, they don't. think he's terrible. This guy has one bad year. Huh?
I don't think they think.
Now they think he's terrible, Anthony. Trust me. I read the text line.
Fair enough.
Okay?
All right.
Every day.
Like the fans think he's terrible, or the Cardinals think he's terrible?
I don't know what the Cardinals think. Do you?
Well, I think they think highly enough of him to try and get rid of Nolan Arenado, right?
I would think that would be.
That had nothing to do with Nolan Gorman. That's about cutting salary, and you know it.
All right, fair enough.
Yep.
J.J. Weatherholt should be one of those players, since he played at West Virginia, he played in college, that has a faster track to the big leagues. I'm putting should in, quotations. But this is a player that I think that fits kind of that mold of what St. Louis Cardinals fans have expected out of their players. Somebody that was talking on draft night that he was going to be, that he was dreaming he was going to be a Cardinal. Seems like he's, somebody that is pro and he goes about his game the right way. And again, I think we should probably see him within a couple of years here. So he's got to do it. He's going to do it in the minors, though, obviously.
Look, he's exciting. Okay, there's a lot to be excited about with this player. But the one thing I don't want the Cardinals to do is fast track him the way they've tried to do with other players, like the Dylan Carlson experiment, Jordan Walker. I mean, pick your Cardinal that they've tried to move along way too fast, and I don't want that to happen where he comes up, limited success, then he doesn't have success, then you have to try and send him back down and let him earn his way up. There's nothing wrong with that. I've always said that about some of these good players, especially a top 10 pick like J.J. Weatherholt is let him be so good that he doesn't belong in the minors anymore.
Right. But you have to also, I'm sorry, Marsh, you have to have a spot. And that has been one of the other issues, I think, with the Cardinals. And it's not all that just them. I mean, Dylan Carlson didn't stay active. He was banged up a lot. So you got to be available. Mm-hmm. Are you available? Do they give you opportunities? And the Cardinals just tend to miss the window with these young players. So hopefully Weatherholt won't be the next.
Guys, the Missouri Gaming Commission announced that the Missouri sports betting has been delayed, pushing the expected launch date to the fall of 2025. The MGC's launch date will approximately be August 30th of 2025, which is typically, right around the time that the NFL season starts up. So if you're trying to get to the sports books, you got to wait a little bit longer.
Well, makes sense.
Well, they probably make sure it's done before football season.
Like they probably should.
That you want to make some money.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be a lot of bets made during the football season.
If they couldn't get it done ahead of the NCAA tournament, which I don't think they could have, but if they couldn't get it done, that's your next mile marker.
Right.
Because typically there's not a lot of action on baseball. There's not a lot of action in hockey. There typically is in the NBA, but there's nothing close to the NFL and college football when it comes to sports betting. So you have to think of your marker for the fall. But I mean, you got to get everything in place, right? You got to figure that out. Then you got to figure out how some of these kiosks are going to work in, the Enterprise Center or at Busch Stadium, and the taxes that are involved in that. I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to go through, a lot of red tape. I'm sure that you have to work through before you can get this off the ground. There's a lot of people going to have their hands out.
I'm going to have my hands out. And I go collect my money from my 10-leg parlay one of these days.
Nice, Carey.
Yeah?
Boy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Nice.
Hand it over.
Right here in my palm.
We just need Jamie's basketball picks.
Well,
that's true.
If he could put them together like that. Go back to Mexico. There's obviously something in the water.
Okay.
We just talked about Illinois for a brief moment, and I think right now it's a bad time to be an Illini fan. However,
What?
Really?
it is a worse time, in my opinion, to be a Kansas Jayhawk fan. The preseason number one has fallen out of the polls. They've dropped out. Mizzou beat them earlier this year. Oh, big Kansas-Mizzou matchup. Kansas stinks now. What is going on with the Jayhawks?
I think that this college basketball season has been similar to the college football season. I think there's more parity. I think the teams are more evenly aligned. I think that the SEC is kind of a microcosm to what college basketball is overall right now, which is highly competitive. And I think at any point you can see a team catch fire, and at any point you can see a team drop off. Sorry, Carey, but the Illini aren't there. I mean, UCLA. Remember when Mick Cronin, their head coach, was talking about how the players are essentially entitled and they're soft, and I don't know what to do with them. Well, they caught fire after 7 or so games after he said that. They caught fire. I think that this is a highly competitive college basketball season. Auburn is having a great year. Unfortunately for Carey, Duke is having an incredible year. Gators, Florida Gators have had a remarkable year, but they've had some ups and downs. Houston is a really good team that proved that they've been beatable. Earlier this month, they had their 30 or 33 win home winning streak broken by the team they're going to face tonight in Texas Tech. I wouldn't be shocked if Houston got a small measure of revenge on them. I think these teams are more even than ever before. And we saw this with college football. So it doesn't surprise me that teams kind of have fallen off, like Kansas now, out of the top 25. But I also wouldn't be shocked if they made a run.
This is, again, why I hate preseason rankings. Let give them a couple weeks. To really figure out who a team is. You go into a season number one, and now you're not even in the top 25. You probably didn't deserve that number one ranking to begin with. And so I would love to do away with preseason rankings for college sports, college football, college basketball. It doesn't matter. 2 more weeks after the season starts, I think you have a pretty good understanding of where everyone is, and you can go from there.
Last thing here. Jamie, you always bring up that Carey has a thing against older athletes.
Mr. Great.
Older people. Alexander Ovechkin said, "Fascinating you, Carey. I'm going to score 3 goals, get a hat trick against Edmonton Oilers." Alex Ovechkin is now 13 goals shy of Wayne Gretzky's NHL record. Do you think more people should be talking about this from a national perspective? Obviously, people in the hockey circles are talking about it, but this is a huge thing, and he's 13 goals shy. I would like to think that he's going to get it this year.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get it this year. That's just my opinion, especially if he keeps scoring empty net goals. But, this is a huge thing for not only hockey, but sports.
Yeah, I think you'll see momentum pick up when he gets to the 5 or 6 goals away. I think right now people are tracking it. You see ESPN and different stations they're tracking it. But when he gets under 10, I think you're going to see a lot of things change.
Do you think we'll see live look-ins when we saw Aaron Judge going for the American League home run record? We had live look-ins on ESPN. Do you think we'll get that for Alexander Ovechkin?
Yeah, it'd be difficult to have live look-in of at-bats are a little bit different because
for sure
you're seeing the player.
That is true.
But you'll get a live update. If he scores a goal in a game when he's under the 5-goal mark, and let's say you're watching a Blues game or something, probably going to get a replay that comes up at the whistle where you see Alex Ovechkin scoring his goal and getting closer to the record.
Or we could even see maybe some of the national games get flexed or bumped out of that window.
It's possible, yeah. As you get closer and closer, I'm sure the league would like to have national coverage of Alex Ovechkin, especially if he's 3 goals away or something like that. You want to make sure you bump other teams and move things around and change the national coverage for the Capitals. I can see that happening, for sure.
All right, Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. It's Fascinating on 101 ESPN. We're going to talk to our Blues insider, Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic, coming up next. And one of the things that he wrote over the weekend is something that a lot of Blues fans have been wondering as well. Should the Blues try to capitalize on Binnington's Four Nations success with a trade? We'll ask JR about that article next on 101 ESPN. We've all lived through good remodels and bad remodeling projects. That's why I highly recommend you go with Mosby Building Arts. Just like many of you, we've gone through some really bad remodelers at our house. We had a flooring company, in fact, completely mess up flooring. You know, they put holes in doors and messed up certain spots on our floor, and we're like, hey, you know what? This isn't what you said you'd do. And they came back and said, oh yeah, no, we'll fix this, and never came back. And it's just a situation where, as a homeowner, you feel like you've been taken advantage of. That's why I highly recommend Mosby Building Arts, because we've experienced them as well. We had doors that were replaced, and when you have doors that are replaced, it's not just doors. In our situation, the floor underneath those doors causing issues in our basement. They fixed it all. They did a remarkable job. In fact, Mosby Building Arts were one of the only people that came in and said, look, here's your actual problem. Some steps, some patio steps, they're causing the leak. And it's one of the reasons why you can't fix the leak despite my best efforts. Mosby Building Arts, they're the right remodelers. So what that means is they get honest pricing. There's no gimmicks. There's no hidden fees. They won't come back to you in 4 weeks when the project is ongoing and say, hey, you know what? We're in the middle of this, but we're going to have to add more money to your cost. No, that's not what Mosby does. The high-quality work, designers with good taste. So if you're remodeling your bathroom or your kitchen, they've got remodelers that got great taste, trustworthy construction team. They're all friendly. They all do a great job of cleaning up when they're done, and the work speaks for itself. Smooth, stress-free process, designers, completion. They do a great job at Mosby Building Arts. Don't just take my word for it. If you had a bad experience, you just want to avoid a bad experience, call Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company, at 314-909-1800, or visit callmosby.com to schedule your free consultation today, and make sure that you tell them Stalter sent you. It's Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company.
Time for the Rutherford Report on 101 ESPN.
Anything you folks want to know about the fascinating world of pro hockey? Here we go.
3:03, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. And we go to the Collier and Thompson phone line, where Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider with The Athletic, joins us right now. And JR, you put out a piece that is aptly titled, "Should the Blues try to capitalize on Jordan Binnington's Four Nations success with a trade?" When you approach this, what ultimately did you want to unearth from like the Blues perspective?
Yeah, I think that the big picture, everybody watched the game, watched the tournament, watched his unbelievable saves in overtime, and thought, wow, he's really raised his stock. This is the time where the Blues should move him. And so it kind of got the story in motion. And as we sat there and analyzed the situation, does it make sense for the Blues? Does it not? I think that I kept coming back to Doug Armstrong wanting this team to remain competitive throughout the retool. And the way that happens is if Jordan Binnington remains a St. Louis Blue. And then as you dig a little further, I emailed the league. I said, hey, can you send me the goalie trades from the last 5 years? And they sent them to us, and there was about 65 of them that really mattered, when you're talking about actual NHL goalies. And a lot of the trades are in exchange for second-round picks or third-round picks. So I think even if you watch that game and you saw what Jordan Binnington did, anybody who thinks that you're going to go out and get a first-round and a prospect, things that are really going to be beneficial to the Blues moving Jordan Binnington, I think that you got to pay attention to those trades that have been made the last 5 years.
JR, do you think that maybe, though, and I understand the research and, you've got all the data to back it up, but I look at it a little differently right now, is Jordan Binnington just did all of that with the best players in Canada. And all of those players have a tremendous amount of pull on whatever team they're on. So let's just hypothetically say Connor McDavid is talking to Stan Bowman at Edmonton, and they don't believe that Skinner can get the job done ultimately. If Connor McDavid says to Stan Bowman, we need to go get Binnington, I think that changes the landscape a little bit to where the ransom for that could be a lot higher for Doug Armstrong.
Yeah, and I agree. And those conversations, I'm sure, have happened, over the years in similar situations, and it could be happening here. But does that raise the price for Binnington significantly enough where it makes Doug Armstrong stop and say, hey, look, we got to do this? Because I think Joel Hofer is going to be an outstanding goaltender, but if you're talking about playing him 50, 55 games the next couple of years, who are you bringing in? I'm sure you're bringing in somebody, established to play with them, maybe backup B or 1B. Is that going to be enough to remain competitive the next couple of years? Every comment that Doug has made has been about making the playoffs and also giving these young players an environment where you're winning and growing the culture. And if you move Binnington for a first-round pick who maybe you won't see for 3 years, are you doing that?
So let's take this one step further then, just to have the discussion. Doug Armstrong wants this team to remain competitive, wants them to be a playoff team. They've missed the playoff 2 years in a row, and this year they're on the bubble. They're 5 points out right now, possibly 7 with the game in hand that Vancouver has on them. Jordan Binnington has 2 more years left following this year. JR, do you see the Blues being a competitive team in any capacity in the next 2 years? And I ask that just because of the reasoning of, well, we want to have Jordan Binnington here to keep the team competitive, but what does it look like over the next 2 years?
So I present both sides in the story, and that's definitely the other side of this, and we do make that case. Look, if Doug Armstrong and Blues fans want the team to be competitive, well, guess what? They're on the verge of missing the playoffs for the 3rd straight year, and it could be 4 next year. Who knows? So even though you have a 1A goalie and Jordan Binnington, who did what he did at the Four Nations tournament, it's still not enough to help you get over the edge. To me, if you decide that, okay, we're not a playoff team even with Jordan Binnington, there are a number of reasons why it would make sense to trade him, that being number one. Number two, at some point you're going to have to give the net to Joel Hofer, I believe, when he's ready. Maybe that's now, maybe that's next year. But the other thing, Riv, is that Jordan Binnington has 2 more years left on that deal at $6 million. Joel Hofer is a restricted free agent this summer. His contract's going to be up. He could get $3 million. I mean, just throwing out a rough number here. You could have $9 million wrapped up in 2 goaltenders and not be a playoff team. So I think that's another point that could be made in the case of trading Jordan Binnington.
JR, you're close to the team and to Army, and you're around all the time. Do you think that does Army have a sense? Do you feel that he has a sense of what he wants to do at the trade deadline, or do you think this last week and a half will give him a better indication of which way to go, buying or selling?
Yeah, he's definitely, close to the vest with that stuff and doesn't share it with us. But, just based on history, and I've heard others around the Blues say it in the past week or so, is Carey, he's in the past looked at the big picture. And if he doesn't think this is a team that can compete once it gets in the playoffs, then I think he's realistic about the situation at the deadline. The way I see it shaking out here is, let's say the Blues beat Seattle tomorrow. Let's say they can, beat Washington, and now they've put together a little mini streak here. I think you could see him keep some of these players that are pending unrestricted free agents. You guys touched on a couple of those earlier, so you could maybe stay the course. Even if you move a couple of those guys, you're not getting much in return if you're getting a fourth rounder for, a Ryan Suter or, a Radek Fox. Is that really benefiting your situation? And maybe if you win a couple games here and you keep the team together, maybe they can come close to a playoff spot, if not get in. So we'll see. But I think big picture, Doug Armstrong is realistic about this situation going into the deadline.
Jeremy Rutherford joins us right now in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. JR, and this is a tough question for you to answer because you're not Doug Armstrong, but again, given your history with him and you've observed a lot of his deadlines, do you think there's any way that if he were to trade some of these veterans, he could strike a happy medium where it's like, I'm not just going to get a draft pick, but like he did with Holloway and Broberg, where I know where it's a little bit of a different circumstance, could he look to target players on rosters where the player, he's in a squeeze, for playing time, yet if he gets to a team like the Blues, that playing time opens up. So basically target kind of the bottom of the roster, so he's not just looking at draft picks, he's looking at players that can contribute right away.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, Anthony. I guess the only thing, if I completely on the same page with you in terms of, what they'd be looking for is, typically playoff teams want to keep their roster intact. They're up against the cap. They can't bring in too much salary. So, those things are possible. And Doug Armstrong did something that none of us saw coming with, the double offer sheets. But, let's say that you're trying to make a trade with Toronto and you're going to move Braden Shen or you're going to move whomever off your roster. Who is Toronto going to be willing to move from its roster to kind of mix things up, even if it's a lesser player than Braden Shen? So, I'm not saying those moves can't happen prior to the deadline, but to me, I think that's probably something better suited for the offseason.
JR, what are you hearing about some of the prospects the Blues have? Dvorsky, Snuggerud, anybody else, Stenberg down in Springfield? And, do you think that if the Blues are 5-6 points out of a playoff spot, will Army move on from a couple of veteran players that are depth pieces and look to add some of the young guys up for the rest of the season?
Yeah, that sounds like something that is probable, I would say. I think he has to play it out before the deadline and see where this goes, see if they can close this gap a little bit. And if he does, then maybe he holds on to a couple of these UFAs that I talked about. But if not, that's definitely an option to move out a couple of those guys and make some room for some of these prospects. Obviously, Snuggerud can't join until that Minnesota season's over, which could be April. Like, he could realistically, his season ends, he plays one game with the Blues at the end of the year. Dvorsky's the bigger headline here in terms of when could he get called up. If the Blues feel like they're out of this race, they still have a couple parts at the deadline. Doug's already been on record a month or so ago saying that we could have the young guys up like we did last year, getting some playing time. How much does he want to disrupt Springfield and disrupt the success that Dvorsky's having with the Thunderbirds? I don't know, but I think at some point, if there's opportunity here, they've got to put Dvorsky on the roster and see what he can do down the stretch.
JR, we'll let you go. We know you get some fun plans tonight with your dad, so we appreciate the time today and have fun tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. And I was going to tell you guys, I know what you're going through with the soccer talk. A lot of times when I talk Blues hockey, people tell me stick to something that you know.
Yeah. So it gets tough, JR, because if you're anything like me, I look down and I say, well, this is it. This is all I have. So
this is all I get. Thanks, boys.
See you, man. Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider with The Athletic, at JP Rutherford is where you can find him on X. We're going to do a Cardinals player Around the Diamond feature that we're going to highlight a Cardinals player leading up to the regular season, leading up to opening day, that we'll talk about kind of, big question marks, what impact can this player bring, how would this player factor into the Cardinals' long-term plans. And today we're going to talk about Jordan Walker. So we'll get to Jordan Walker next on 101 ESPN.
My buddy Derek Stevens, owner of Circa Sports Las Vegas Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, has created the world's largest sports book. It's amazing. It's quite the sight to see when you're in Vegas. But I've got even better news. He is bringing that sports book to the palm of your hand with the Circa Sports Illinois app. It's got that old school Vegas feel to it. It caters to those who are familiar with betting, which is why their lines are as aggressive as they are. Best odds of any app that's out there. You don't believe me? Download several apps, doesn't matter, and compare the odds. Circa Sports has the best odds. They've also got the great lines for all of their futures bets, tight money line splits, high betting limits, exceptional customer service, so you'll get to talk to a real person, not some computer or a bot. And right now, they're available to download on their website, or you can find them in the App Store. It's awesome. It's super user-friendly, great odds, all sorts of prop plays, the parlays, the team props, player props, anything you want to do, they've got you covered with Circa Sports Illinois app. And remember, the best odds of any app that's out there. So please don't miss out on the action. Download and bet like a pro with your Circa Sports Illinois app today and join in on the excitement. If you're someone you know may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Let's go around the diamond with your St. Louis Cardinals.
So each day we're going to take one Cardinals player for our Around the Diamond segment and kind of talk about their current future, really the present, the future, not only from the standpoint of where they could be at the end of this year, but what are the Cardinals' plans for them over the next coming years? So we're going to start off with Jordan Walker. What is your biggest question mark surrounding this player?
Consistency. I mean, just bottom line, both offensively and defensively, because he is a very athletic player. I mean, he's a freak athlete. He's a physical specimen. He's got everything that you want, but he lacks the defensive ability to make some of the routine plays. He gets bad reads on the ball, takes a bad route. All of these things, I'm sure he's worked on in the offseason, and I'm sure he'll continue to improve. But that worries me. And then at the plate, same thing. He knocks the cover off the ball the first at-bat, and then 3 more at-bats, and he can't even touch the ball, or he grounds out into a double play, or just things like that. For me, it's watching to see if he's more consistent. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, it's baseball. You're going to have good days, bad days, whatnot. But for me, there has to be more good days than bad with Jordan Walker.
I think obviously the fielding part is important. You have to be able to do that. I think him being as athletic as he is, and it's a new position. It's something you didn't play. You played third base. They moved him to outfield, and it's going to take time to mature into that position and learn all the nuances that go with being that type of player. So I am under the assumption that, you get better every year, learning how to do it, how to just work that position to the best of your ability. I think at the plate, I'm excited. I think we were talking about it earlier. There's an article in The Athletic where they're talking about the, what was the title of them? MLB breakout candidates, young hitters ready to step up in 2025. And Jordan Walker's name is on that list. And so you're looking at a guy that hits the ball extremely hard. He had a max exit velo of 115.5. It means he's smoking the ball. And they said there's only 16 players, qualified players in all of the majors that had a higher max exit velo than him. Right, so when he does make contact, he's hitting the ball. His hard hit rate is really high. It would have been the second on the Cardinals behind Paul Goldschmidt. So he hits the ball hard. Eventually, he's going to hit the ball hard in the air. I've just said this time and time again, don't take that away from him. If I'm hitting the ball extremely hard, that means eventually I'm going to hit it in the right spot to get it to lift and go where it needs to go. But I'm seeing it. I'm striking the ball extremely hard. You may not like the ground balls and Jamie says killing worms. He said that time and time again. But eventually, with time and maturation and understanding pitches and seeing pitchers over and over again, you learn how to elevate that ball and make sure you get it out of the park or get it in the gaps.
Yeah, for me specifically, it's pitch recognition and patience at the plate. Is plate discipline. To me, that's been his biggest thing, is swinging at pitches outside of the zone in certain key moments throughout the game. So for me, if he can clean that up, we know that the guy can smoke the ball, right? We that's the whole reason why we're having this conversation. We're so enamored with this player is because of what he can do when he's on. But for me, I saw too much swinging at pitches outside of the zone, and you're not going to hit those pitches. And like you say all the time, you can't hit a bad pitch. Right?
You can't put a good swing on a bad pitch.
You can't put a good swing on a bad pitch.
Yep.
So for me, it really comes down to plate discipline and pitch recognition. And hopefully, he's been working on that.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would say is you let a young player figure it out. Right, I looked at the numbers. His hard hit rate would have been top 55 in all of major leagues. You know, it was 39. Ellie De La Cruz. Ellie De La Cruz led the league in strikeouts with 218
Why
of
do you
them.
not like
But he's
him?
fast, Carey. He's
Why do you not
fast.
like him?
Ellie De La Cruz?
Yeah.
Oh, I love him.
Why you bring him up all the time when you talk negatives?
No, I love him. I don't like that he strikes
Doesn't
out
sound like
and leads the league in strikeouts, but when he gets on first, you might as well send him home.
Well, against the Cardinals, yeah.
It is true.
No chance throwing him out.
Yeah, maybe because I watched them play the Cardinals so many
Best
times.
arms at first base now.
Well, now you can just throw it over there and he throw him out a second. Alleviate that issue.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a young player. The Reds were, hey man, you're hitting the ball hard. You struck out 218 times. That's okay. Right? It happens. But he was given that opportunity. They are the same age. I think they're a month apart in age. This is a young man that can do some of the same things that Ellie De La Cruz can do. He's not going to run as fast, but I think he has really good speed. He has a lot of the elements and a lot of the attributes that Ellie De La Cruz has, but Ellie De La Cruz was on a team that allowed him to fail, whereas Jordan Walker was not on a team that allowed him to fail. The Reds said, we probably ain't making the playoffs. The Cardinals said, oh, yeah, we can make the playoffs. No, you can't, idiots. This damn team ain't good enough to make the damn playoffs. Where's who had the common sense to know that? Nobody. That's why I like Army. Army is a realistic person. You know what? Guys ain't good enough. Get out of here. Cardinals, you ain't good enough, but you're trying. Nobody gives a damn about you trying. Get it damn done. That's it. Get the job done or don't. And I think he'll be okay this year.
So we're doing our Around the Diamond feature today. We're leading off with Jordan Walker. The biggest question mark surrounding this player. I've got kind of a combination of what you guys broke down. To me, it is consistency when it comes to breaking balls. It's and more specifically when it comes to getting in hitters' counts. That's one thing I don't think that Jordan Walker has done consistently. We can talk about plate approach. His plate approach might be fine. In fact, Carey, you were looking at some numbers before the show that would indicate that his command of the strike zone is actually pretty good for a young player. But when he gets in pitchers' counts, to Marsh's point, this is when he expands the zone, and he doesn't have that ability to lay off those off-speed pitches. So breaking balls, sliders, we saw that slider that they constantly throw really in the left-handed batter's box, and he'll expand, he'll chase. And the old dunkism of you can't put a good swing on a bad pitch, that's the case with Jordan Walker. This is somebody, and going back to like the ground balls that Jamie brought up, there's a reason why the Cardinals wanted to tweak his mechanics. Now, did they go about it the right way? That's another discussion. But the bottom line is this is somebody with a frame and the power, the raw power, to hit 30 plus a year. That's what they're trying to unlock. Again, are they doing it the right way? I don't know. And I realize that somebody that's also have a high contact rate like Jordan Walker just put the ball in play. I get all that. But to maximize who he is as a player or the potential, I think this is somebody that can hit 30 plus, and you have to have the right approach to do that.
So that's another issue that I have, because people look at a body type and they do this with Colton Parayko. Colton Parayko should be Chris Pronger. Period.
After what I saw at the Four Nations, my gosh.
He should be, though, right? He should be more physical. He should be more aggressive because their stature is the same. But you've said time and time again, they aren't the same player.
No.
Right? Jordan Walker, because he's 6'5", 6'6", he weighs a certain amount. You assume this guy should be hitting 40 bombs a year. Same thing with Matt Holliday. People felt the same way. Matt Holliday should be a 30, 40 home run. Matt Holliday hit 30 home runs twice in his career. He wasn't a home run hitter like people assumed he should be, because that's just not how he swung the bat. But he hit a lot of line drives. He hit the ball hard. He got on base. Like, he did everything you were supposed to do as a baseball player. So the thing that frustrates me most, and I see coaches do this all the time, and maybe, you know what, this is therapy. This is therapy again, right? You're a certain size. You're a fullback. I'm faster than the freaking guy you got behind me. What do you mean? But that's the assumption, because you're a certain body type. You have to be a certain position, or you have to play a certain way. And what if Jordan Walker is a guy that hits 280 and has, and doesn't hit, and he hits 18 to 25 home runs a year? Are we going to say he didn't maximize his full potential because he didn't hit 40 bombs and he wasn't Aaron Judge? Like, that notion to me is odd. It always is. You let players tell you who they are, and then you add to their game and you allow them to be better. You don't say, oh, you're not hitting 40 home runs, you can't play here. That's the dumbest thing I've heard, and that's the dumbest mindset to have for a player that is as talented as he is. We don't know what he is. Let him be who he is. If he hits 40 bombs, good, thank you, good job. If he hits 22, you're going to be mad? If he's on base all the time and he's scoring runs? You shouldn't be. So I think that's just a dumb mindset that people have. Now I won't say dumb because that's probably unfair, but it's an unfortunate mindset that people have based on a person's size and physique.
I just think that at 22 years old, we shouldn't put him in any box.
Agreed.
And maybe, Carey, that's also what you're trying to say. This is somebody, though, that with his athleticism and his size, and maybe I'm doing exactly what you don't want, CD, but with his athleticism and his size, this is somebody that if he does know how to hit line drives, and he thinks gap to gap, and he's thinking doubles, if you're a doubles hitter, you typically can hit 25-plus home runs. You can't do that if you're hitting the ball on the ground, and not every ball is going to come off the bat at 115. So I just think that, and again, maybe we're saying the same thing here, CD. Don't put him in any box.
Right.
Don't limit what he can be, because I think there's a lot to work with here. Real quick, impact. What kind of impact can this player bring on the team? I think the ultimate upside is he's a middle of the order hitter.
Yeah.
Oh, this season.
You said no.
I'm not saying right now. I'm not saying opening day. I'm not saying April. I'm not even saying May. I'm saying the ultimate impact. I think the ceiling is this is a middle of the order hitter. I think the floor is he
ain't on your team anymore.
Yeah, or he's in the minors, which I don't want to see happen.
With his abilities, even if he projects to what Carey said, the 280 batting average with 17 to 25 home runs, for me that profiles way more as a two-hole hitter. Right where Paul Goldschmidt was for so long, I think that's what his ceiling is. I think middle of the order, people are going to automatically go to, he's got to be swinging the big bat, got to be the home run guy.
For me, 2 to 5 is what I'm talking about. So
I thought you were talking 4 or 5, 3, 4, 5.
I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. But if he's a 2-hole hitter, you and I are on the same page. I think ultimately that's his
because
ceiling.
he's athletic enough, he runs fast. He's still a good guy to get on base too.
Certainly.
Well, and it depends on what the players around him look like too.
Right.
So, if he's in a certain spot in the lineup because no one else is doing anything, then you have more problems than just where he's batting them in the lineup.
Certainly.
If he's somewhere else because you feel great about that means maybe you have some other guys that can really swing the stick.
Definitely. All right, so we'll continue to do this. We'll have another player to feature for our Around the Diamond segment tomorrow, but good first start here with Jordan Walker. We're going to do advice with former athletes. We've got a Super Bowl champion in Carey Davis. We've got Jamie Rivers, who obviously who played a long time in the NHL and has been a coach and a mentor to players for a long time as well. So if you have any question for these two, send it in the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. That's our Air Comfort Service text line. Advice with former athletes next. Jamie, we got our guy Stewie on the line right now. I love talking to Stewie because he always has new ways to help save us and our listeners money. And I know, Stewie, you've got a great plan for everybody when it comes to saving money on refis.
Hey, Anthony, you know what? Sometimes you got to refer back to the old plan. We had 4 ESPN listeners today that called in and said, hey, you know what? My rate's in the 7s. Can I go ahead and just reduce it? And, yes, we're going to reduce it by 0.5% for all these customers. Now, they went to their lender, and, of course, they say we can reduce 0.5% also. But the difference is with us, you're going to get the bagel loan, 0. Looks like a 0, no closing costs. By the way, if you don't like bagels, call it the donut loan, also a 0. Works works to get out to our website as well. Either way, it doesn't matter. No closing costs is the key, because if you have to spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, you're never going to recoup the amount you save. So be smart. Get the bagel loan. Get a reduced rate. Save that money. If rates go down later, guess what? You can do it again.
That's exactly why you call our guy Stewie. He's got great advice, great strategies, and he's always setting you up for success. And I know from my personal experience with Stewie and buying a home that he was there to hold my hand the entire time, and it was awesome. I never worried about anything, and I want that for our listeners as well. So please pick up the phone, call Stewie on his personal cell phone number. That number is 314-324-4440.
Again, that number is 314-324-4440.
Day, night, weekends, doesn't matter. Stewie's our guy. He needs to be your guy. Can't remember the number? Anthony, what can they do?
You can always Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues picked up 3 points out of a possible 4 over the weekend, a 4-3 shootout loss to the Winnipeg Jets, and a 3-1 victory over the Colorado Avalanche. They'll take on the Seattle Kraken tomorrow night, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We talked earlier with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic. If you missed that conversation, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. City SC in their opener played to a 0-0 draw with Colorado. We talked a little bit about that earlier in the show. So once again, if you missed anything, just head to the website or go to the free 101 ESPN mobile app. We have advice with former athletes coming up next. So if you have any advice that you want to ask or you need some advice from Jamie or Carey, text into the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Advice with former athletes next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Time to do advice with former athletes. We got our Super Bowl champion, Carey Davis, as well as a longtime NHL vet and coach, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and here's Andrew Marsh with your advice with former athletes questions via the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646.
Yeah, let's start off with the 618. Hey, guys, my son just turned 1 today. At what age
Happy birthday.
should his athletic career begin for the best possible future for him?
What are you trying to play? Because don't some hockey players get on the ice at 3?
Yeah.
2, 3 years old? 3?
Yeah.
So 3 if you're playing hockey. Normally, basketball, baseball, t-ball at that time is 4 or 5 years old. You got time. I mean, is he walking yet? If he ain't,
At 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Some of them.
Yeah.
My kids were walking at 1.
I say about
I didn't
1.
want them to walk.
Yeah.
No, because then they touch everything.
Yeah.
And then everything has to be moved up or out of the way, and it's just chaos.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So
I'd get up to walking and push them down. No walking. I'm joking.
Explains a lot.
Little buggers kept getting up.
Yeah.
3 to 5.
I don't want to help you.
3 to 5 years old, depending on the sport.
Yeah, and make sure they like the sport.
Just have fun.
Like, make sure they like the sport.
Don't be doing drills.
No, it's like,
I made that mistake with Killian.
and just because
Like, hey, we're going to do some backpedal drills today. Huh? You didn't want to do it. I'm like, well, why don't we just throw the ball around?
There you go.
And he's like, okay. Yeah.
But that's kind of my point, is make sure your kid likes the sport. Just because you love a sport doesn't mean your child is going to love the sport or be good at that sport.
Right.
So let them kind of figure it out. For my advice would be like, if you have a kid that you'd think you'd love to see them play hockey, just get them skating. Don't worry about passing pucks and stick handling and shoot. Just get them out skating. Let them enjoy that first, because that's the number one thing. If you can't skate, you can't play.
Yeah.
So learn how to skate and then worry about other things later.
Hence the reason I haven't had my successful NHL career yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your parents
Waiting
did
on you.
not get you involved in skating.
Yeah. Jamie got to help me out, though. Get me skating.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Never too late.
Then I can be an NHL enforcer.
Absolutely.
I mean, Jamie likes older players. I'd be an older player.
Yeah, Carey, it'll be easy for you.
Yeah.
The skating and fighting on the ice, those are easy things to do.
No, I do one already. I don't know how to do the other. I watched Nathan Walker. He fell down and got back up. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'd just probably just stay there.
No. He had lots of fight left there.
It was a lot.
I was like, no. Get him back up. Stand him back up.
It's funny.
From the 314, hey boys, I coach a youth sports team. What is the best way to approach another parent with a concern about their child not being a team player?
Tell them the truth.
Yeah. So he's the coach?
Sounds like it.
Correct.
Yeah, that's easy. You just ask the parent, hey, can we have a little sit down, you, your child, and me, and just talk about sportsmanship and teamwork and team play, and then just say, hey, look, little Johnny or little Susie, they haven't been the greatest teammate right now. But here's how we do that. Here's how we become great teammates. And you kind of map it out, because some of these kids don't have any idea what it is to be a good teammate.
Right.
You know what? Maybe they've never had to be a teammate of anything. Maybe they're an only child at home and don't know how to play with others yet, or things like that. Like, there's lots of factors, so you don't have to go like full throttle on the kid.
Yeah.
I always offer them the answers first, and then let the kid and the parent kind of process all that, and then let the parent kind of hold the child, not accountable, but hold them to task. Because school has rules, and that's one thing that I learned early in my youth coaching career is these kids are already wired to have rules and listen, because they go to school from a very young age, kindergarten, 5 years old. So when you get them at 7, 8, or 9, they already know what structure is. So shame on the coaches if you don't provide that structure and make sure they know what the structure is, or the rules for that matter.
Right. Yeah, you set the tone.
Yeah.
It's building off what Jamie said. Keep in mind, you're the one that's sending out all the emails. You're going to the coaches' meetings. You're picking up during your free time. You're picking up the equipment. You're emailing the parents about practice. You're determining whether or not a practice should get canceled. You're emailing the league about different dates when it comes to these games. All this stuff to what? Not have it be your team during practices. You set that tone.
Yep.
And like Jamie said, if you do that and the kid responds well, great. If not, you politely tell the parent that, look, I hope best of luck. I hope he continues to play, but we're not. He's not going to be on our team.
What do you do with a parent who is the one enabling said kid?
Well, then you're just very honest with the parent. I've had parents like that and say, listen, you're holding your kid back. Like, you can't do what you're doing. I've had parents, like, they try to coach from the stands. Like, little Johnny's looking up at dad, and he's got, like, signals, like baseball. And I'm like, whoa.
They got an indicator?
Pretty much, yeah. And so I would I would talk to said parent and just say, hey, listen.
You said it right the first time.
No, I never grabbed anybody. But But I was very stern. I say, hey, listen, you want to coach a team? You can take over. But I'm going to tell all the parents that I'm no longer coaching because you're wanting to be the coach. So next time I see you giving little Johnny signals from that, one, Johnny's not playing anymore, and two, I'm no longer the coach. Mm-hmm. Like, okay.
Yeah. I've had parents stand on the fence and have their sons come to the fence so they can talk to them. Hey, you can stay over there. He can stay over there.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't got to come back in this game. I don't know. You're not here every day.
Right.
You're not with us every day. You don't know what your son is capable of. You don't even know if your son knows the plays.
Mm-hmm.
Which in most instances, if they're standing next to me, they don't. They don't know the plays. They don't know what they're doing. Or someone is actually better than them. You might not agree because you're a parent, but, that's just the mindset of parents. I told you I had a parent yell, put number such and such in the game. I said, he don't know what he's doing. Can't put him in. He started laughing. I'm like, yeah, you want to embarrass your son?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm actually doing him a favor, and you as well. I don't want to get him out there and lose his confidence because he has no clue. He's athletic, but he doesn't know what he's doing, so I can't put him in the game.
Yeah.
Last one here from the 314. Jamie, are you going to start wearing a helmet with a visor after seeing Rob Ray get hit in the head while being between the benches?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Rob Ray, former Buffalo Sabres, tough guy, played in the NHL a long time. He does the analyst job for their television broadcasts, and he's down between the benches. And he got hit between the eyes earlier this year and was bleeding and got stitches after the game. Got through the whole game with, tape on his face and whatnot. It was hilarious. He just got hit again over the weekend. This one here, too, do yourself a favor. Go find it on social media. The audio on it is fantastic. As he gets hit in the head again, you hear clear as day, fast lane. And then he's bleeding out of his eye again. And, in true Rob Ray fashion, stays in the game, doesn't leave. I'll tell you what, things happen fast down there. I've had the puck fired in there a couple of times. You got to be, you can't be asleep at the wheel. Sometimes our producer, Timmy Papster, does an amazing job. He'll be trying to show me something in my ISO, which is different than the program monitor. Program monitors for replays. ISO is things that he can show me throughout the game. Like, hey, do you want this replay? Here's what it looks like, But it's during the play. So you can't fall asleep. You're looking at your ISO, and all of a sudden you got a stick that hits you over the head. I got hit over the head not too long ago with a stick.
Did you?
Somebody got hit. Toropchenko hit somebody, and the guy's stick came right over and tomahawked me over the head.
Oh.
Didn't feel very good, but I was fine. Player came over after. He's like, "Hey, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Yeah.
Cool. Are you good? Players are pretty aware that you're there for the most part,
Sure.
It's fun. But, the pucks come flying, and you just have to, if you're watching the play, it should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Should be. Mm-hmm. You never know.
You ever, caught one midair? Be like, there you go.
Caught one in my gut last year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was like, threw it up to the little kid behind me.
You okay, mister?
No.
I'm fine.
They're asking what was the announcer's name, the color commentator name?
Rob Ray.
Rob Ray. There you go.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Robbie Ray.
Yeah.
Totally
the pitcher.
different.
The pitcher.
Or Robbie, our former Gauntlet contestant.
No.
Different Rob.
All right, it's Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Mo had some kind of interesting comments about Nolan Arenado over the weekend about, basically what he means to the Cardinals, and sounds like Nolan Arenado might be here forever based on these quotes. That's next on 101 ESPN.
If you are looking to improve the look of your vehicle, please visit my friends over at Pure Performance. Hey, they are your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. They're unbelievable at what they do. They've got so many great items that you can add to your vehicle, whether it's a Jeep, a Bronco, SUV, pickup truck. I've got a pickup truck, and I've had a lift kit put on there, a tonneau cover for the back of the truck, and new wheels. They just do such an amazing job over there at Pure Performance, and you have to go by and check it out. They've got a 25,000 square foot facility, and it's like toys everywhere for your vehicle. Just so many amazing things. But you got to do me a favor. When you walk in over there, please ask for Shelby or Caleb. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They're going to take great care of you. They're going to make sure that they maximize your budget, and the technicians are going to do an incredible job. Your car, when you drop it off, will not look the same when you pick it up, and you're absolutely going to love it. So please, again, go visit them in person. You won't be sorry. But if not, visit them online at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
It's Fascinating on 101 ESPN. So earlier we talked about John Denton's article for MLB.com that came out over the weekend in which he said the Astros have rekindled trade efforts with Arenado. We also mentioned Katie Woo's article about how she spoke with John Mozeliak and that there's no deal that's imminent and looks like Arenado is not willing to waive his no trade clause. But in that piece by John Denton, there was a quote by John Mozeliak about Nolan Arenado that was interesting. He goes, as we think about resetting the roster, he does make us a better team if he's Nolan and if he's happy. I like that he does seem to be motivated to want to be good. I can candidly say, of all the trade conversations I've been in, an Arenado bounce-back year is what scares me the most. I think great players have that extra gear, and when they find it, they're special. I would not bet against him. I'd bet on him, which, same thing. And I was afraid someone else was going to get that if we traded him. He's a special player, and he could still do things that many can't.
Is that Arenado's agent?
That was John Mozeliak, who officially is not Nolan Arenado's agent.
Do we know that?
Yet. Maybe he's angling to be that. I think if we're going to read the tea leaves here, and if we're going to go, I don't know, a really deep dive, I think this is Mo's biggest fear as a president. It's not just Nolan Arenado. I think he has tended to operate in this manner for most of his time here in St. Louis. He's deathly afraid of parting with a player that will go on to have success. And as soon as that started to happen, it was reaffirming that cautious approach that he has.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to take it one step further, too.
You're going even deeper.
Yeah, always. For Mo, it's also he's trying to create some leverage because he's lost all leverage on the trade front.
Yeah, good point.
And so by him basically saying, like, we're happy to have him, and if Nolan is Nolan,
can't have him.
If Nolan is Nolan, we know how good this guy is. Like, who wouldn't want this guy? Wink, wink. He's trying to recreate some value here for Nolan Arenado, which sounds crazy because the guy's probably a future Hall of Famer. But after his last couple of seasons, last year in particular, there's a little to be desired when it comes to what he used to be and what he did last year.
Sure.
So John Mozeliak, being intelligent on this one, is continuing to build up his player. And it does Mo no good to tear him down because if he is going to be here in St. Louis, Mo would like him to be good.
Yeah.
He'd like him to be so good that the phone starts ringing from everybody around the league.
I'll go even deeper.
Whoa.
He'll need a drill.
Oh.
I would say that maybe John Mozeliak doesn't even want to trade Nolan Arenado. Maybe it's the ownership that wants to get rid of Arenado because of the money situation, but Mo's going into his last year. Wouldn't he want this team to be more competitive in his final year to perhaps help his legacy?
Wouldn't he have done some things different?
Maybe, but Arenado essentially makes you a better team. If you get rid of that guy and you have a 70 to 80 win season, you miss the playoffs, it's not great. John Mozeliak walks out the door potentially making this team worse than, I don't want to say worse than when he came in, but Doug Armstrong says it all the time. I don't want to leave this team in worse condition than when I got it. And maybe that's the case. That's just my thought. We're digging deep here.
Carey,
maybe I found something.
Would you like to quadruple down?
Nah, I don't think I can go any deeper than these two guys.
Well,
on this topic.
Okay.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Could at least try.
They went very deep. That surface level is just, he just can't find a way to trade him. And maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he is, because there is something to a player of Nolan Arenado's caliber having a down year and coming back with, just a mindset that I'm going to just take care of business this season, right? As an athlete, you only need one thing. It could be minor, it could be major. Oh, they don't believe in me. No, you're a Hall of Famer. No, nobody believes in me anymore.
Right.
They don't think I'm good enough. And that could be the thing that kind of lights a fire under a player to have a great season. And maybe Mo is saying, I don't want to get rid of this guy coming off of a poor season, and then he bounces back and has a great year. Is it probable? Maybe not. Usually when you get older, I know Jamie thinks I dislike older players, but as you get older in the game, your game starts to deteriorate and you start to, go down as opposed to continue to rise. But I think it's just as simple as they got him here. There's really no other option for him at this moment. The best solution for John Mozeliak and the Cardinals is that he has an outstanding year and you can trade him at the deadline. And the other thing that I just started about this, we haven't said anything about Ryan Helsley. Well, we have not, like, Nolan Arenado has kind of engulfed the entire offseason because that was priority 1, 2, and 3, according to Mo. We haven't said anything about any other players, like, that were potentially talked about being traded. Ryan Helsley being another one. Like, Nolan Arenado has essentially taken over this entire offseason for what? For nothing. Because he's still here. You were unable to get anything done. And so you're kind of running it back.
He made the trade with Minnesota.
Oh, for the Hellman guy.
Yeah.
Did he play yet?
No.
No, I think he did. He got a hit.
He
I think
played spring training.
Yes.
Well, I mean, spring training.
I think he got a hit in game 1. Could be wrong on that one, but
Hellman.
I was looking for his name. I was really intrigued.
And you say he hasn't gotten anything done.
Yeah.
Okay. Of anything that's moving the needle. They haven't. They're running the same team back that they had last year, minus a couple of pitchers.
Very true.
He did not get a base hit.
Oh, then.
Thanks, Mark.
But he scored a run, guys.
There you go.
He did.
Got on
Gotta
base.
get on base.
Got on base.
Gotta
He's
get
up
on
for
base.
4 right now, but he did score a run.
Hey, drop third strike. How'd he get on base?
You know what? They don't ask how, they ask how many.
Oh, hit by pitch.
I have no idea.
All right.
Taking a guess.
Well, we've got the Gauntlet coming up next. We do have a returning Gauntlet contestant.
Oh, I lost, didn't I?
Yeah.
Shame on me.
So Jamie, Marsh, or me, we're up next in the Gauntlet on 101 ESPN. Underdog Fantasy, it's available here to play in Missouri. So if you're a sports fan, especially during this time of year, you can play Underdog Fantasy. It's a lot of fun, man. I really enjoy it. I love the fact that you can combine sports. So for tonight, for example, you've got NBA, you've got NHL, you've got college basketball. They've even got MMA and some of the other sports that a lot of people like to dabble in. So whether you want to go higher or lower on certain stats, that's up to you. You can pick out a couple of players. You could do same game if you want. Maybe you got a feeling on a certain game and how it's going to go. Just choose a player, point stats, or maybe it's NHL. You want to go goals, you want to go assists or points. It's up to you. Higher or lower on certain stats, but Underdog Fantasy, it's a lot of fun to play. You can play for as little as $1, and if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So turn $1 into $1,000 just by using your hoops or your hockey knowledge. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog, their app. It's got over 100K 5-star reviews and millions of players. It's easy to use. They're fair. If a player gets hurt that you chose early in a game, they'll even give you your entry fee back. That's how fair Underdog is. They want to see you have success because they want to see you have fun and recommend it to your friends as well. Download the Underdog app. Sign up using my promo code Anthony to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you enter your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with my promo code Anthony. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
categories, one challenger. Can you survive the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
404, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Time for the Gauntlet, and we welcome back Drew after knocking off Carey on Friday in the first leg of the Gauntlet. Drew's back for round 2. What's up, Drew?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Everything's good? You have a good weekend?
Had a great weekend. I'm just picking my daughter up from high school and looking forward to playing.
Okay, well, good. All right. Now, you got past Carey. Would you like to take on Marsh, Jamie, or me next?
I think I will take on you, Anthony, the man, today.
Okay, all right.
All right. Just today, though, Anthony.
Just today.
You're the man
just
today.
Drew built me up today so he can take me down, and then tomorrow, yeah. No, I appreciate that, Drew. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, Anthony, get the heck out of here. While Anthony's on his way to the cone of silence, Drew, you know the routine. Tell Marshy to spin that wheel.
Andrew, spin that wheel.
Oh, Andrew.
Right. Andrew, very proper. What are you looking for, Drew? Talk to me.
Well, I said football last time and I got random, so I'm not going to say anything.
Well, you got football, buddy.
All right.
Yeah. Yep. So while Marshy's getting the questions out here, I know you know this, but for our listeners who don't know, it's 2 points for every question. If you use the options and answer the question correctly, you only get 1 point. The wrong answer is 0 points. If we're tied after 4 questions, we will go to a tiebreaker. And, Drew, we will have a winner here today in the Gauntlet. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ready.
Here we go. Football, the category, question 1. Sean Payton in 2006 took over a New Orleans team with 1 playoff appearance in the previous 13 years. Who was the Saints' leading running back in the 2006 season?
Ooh, 2006. Okay. Was that Reggie Bush year? That, I'm gonna shoot my shot and say Reggie Bush. Final answer.
All right, thank you.
Question number 2. When did the New York Giants select Saquon Barkley at number 2 overall in the NFL draft? We need the year, please.
Saquon Barkley, the man. Okay. I want to say this is his 6th complete season. Okay, the year. Okay, so I'll say 2019 final answer.
Question number 3. Name the winningest North Carolina Tar Heels football coach of all time.
Oh. Options on this one.
Options are Mac Brown, Butch Davis, or Dick Crum.
Okay. Never heard of any of those guys, so I'm just gonna say Dick. Final answer.
All right.
All right, Drew, last one. In 2004, the Browns signed quarterback Jeff Garcia, a 3-time Pro Bowler. How many seasons did he last in the Factory of Sadness?
Okay, that's Garcia. I know who it is. How many years did he play? Are you asking how many years he played for the Browns?
Correct.
Okay. You know what? I feel like Anthony's going to know this, but I need the options on this one.
Sure. Was it 1, 3, or 4?
Okay. I thought 3 in my head, so I'll go 3 final answers.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, let's get Anthony back in here. How you feeling, Drew?
I don't know. I'm like 50-50. But, hey, can I say something real quick?
Well, sure.
Hey, just want to let you guys know that I don't know what the ratings look like, but this is by far the best day show on ESPN You guys are great.
Well, we appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, Drew. Appreciate you listening and saying that.
Absolutely.
All right, Anthony, how was it in the cone of silence, bud?
Silence. No.
Nothing.
No Mike Ryder.
Yeah.
By yourself, huh?
By myself with my thoughts.
Well,
lock in.
Your category today is football, and you should pack a lunch, my friend.
Okay. All right.
Ready?
Ready.
Question 1. Sean Payton in 2006 took over a New Orleans team with one playoff appearance in the previous 13 years. Who is the Saints' leading running back in that 2006 season?
Well, Sean Payton liked to mix up his running backs, but that was Reggie Bush's rookie year. I got to go Reggie Bush. Final answer.
Question number 2. When did the New York Giants select Saquon Barkley at number 2 overall in the NFL draft? We need the year, please.
I'm not too great with these. Let me see if I can piece it together. So he just became a free agent this past year. He was a first-round pick. So 04, he was 2024, he's a free agent. 2023 would have been his 5th year at the Giants. Right, 22.
I love when Anthony does math.
21. Oh, yeah, I'm going to screw this up. No doubt. 2019 would be his first year. I'm going to go 2019. 2019, final answer.
Question number 3. Name the winningest North Carolina Tar Heels football coach of all time.
Wow. I know of some North Carolina coaches, but I don't know who would be the winningest. I'll take the options.
Options are Mac Brown, Butch Davis, or Dick Crum.
I don't think Mac Brown or Butch Davis were there long enough, so I'll go with Crum. Final answer.
Okay. Final question. In 2004, the Browns signed quarterback Jeff Garcia, a 3-time Pro Bowler. How many seasons did he spend in the Factory of Sadness?
Jeff Garcia? I don't know. I'm going to narrow it down. Give me the options.
All right. Was it 1, 3, or 4?
Maybe you only spent 1 there. I'll go 1. Final answer.
Okay. Let's go over these. Let's start at the top. Question 1. Sean Payton in 2006 took over a New Orleans Saints team with only one playoff appearance in the previous 13 years. Who was the Saints' leading running back in that 2006 season? Drew, without the options, went Reggie Bush. Anthony, without the options, went Reggie Bush. Carey, answer is...
Yeah, it's Deuce McAllister.
Deuce McAllister. Kevin's brother. All right. Let's go to question 2.
All right.
It's so obvious, right? So obvious it was wrong.
When did the New York Giants select Saquon Barkley at number 2 overall in the NFL draft? Need the year. Well, both Drew and Anthony were doing math on the fly. Boy, were the sparks flying. Drew, without the options, said 2019. Anthony, without the options, 2019. Marshy, answer is...
It is 2018.
2018.
Math was off.
He got a franchise tag by the Giants after his 5th year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
You see where I was going.
Marshy,
Franchise tag
score
makes sense.
update, please.
0-0.
Okay.
Drew, I can see where this is heading with the way Jamie's saying things. The way Jamie's setting this up.
Question 3. Name the winningest North Carolina Tar Heels football coach of all time. Drew, he took the options. He said, good old Dick Crum. Anthony, you took the options. You also said, yeah, give me that Dick Crum.
Yeah.
He's a heck of a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Answer is
Yes, Mac Brown.
Mac Brown.
Really?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
2 stints there.
All right. Marshy,
Two stints.
He's been there twice.
score update, please.
Still 0-0.
Okay.
Born burner, baby.
One question left here.
Jeez.
In 2004, the Browns signed quarterback Jeff Garcia, who was a 3-time Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
How many seasons did he last in the old factory of sadness? Drew, you took the options. You said 3.
Oh, boy.
Anthony, you took the options. You said 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only question where you guys had different answers. One of you is right.
Oh, boy.
Drew.
You have chosen poorly.
It was 1 in the factory of sadness. Wow. Marshy, final score, please.
1-0.
Oh, there it is.
But Anthony's offsides.
Drew, tough day, buddy.
Dude, tough day for both of us, Drew.
Good. I should have paid the rest.
Fan, Drew.
Gratuity's always available.
Yeah, I don't know. Neither of us deserve to win that one. That's for sure.
It was tough. It was tough. Good fight, man. It was a pleasure playing you, Anthony.
Hey, you too, Drew. This is
Drew.
you know what? Here's the thing. We'll go down one of the worst Gauntlet performances ever. You and I. So
We'll share that. Yeah.
Oh man.
I promise. I'll keep listening. I promise.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
Drew.
Thanks for
Take care,
listening.
buddy.
Thanks for playing, Drew.
All right. See you guys.
All right, take care. See ya. Whew.
That was a
I almost
barn
went with
burner.
1 off the top of the noggin there, but I'm like, I better ask for the options. That was rough. I completely forgot Mac Brown was there for two stints.
Yeah, the 80s. Was it the 80s? What was it?
Man.
Late 80s to mid 90s, 97.
As you guys were answering, I was like, oh my God.
Wow, yeah. Well, I thought for sure he was going to go 1-2 the way you were setting it up.
I think I would have got the Saquon right because I knew it was 7 years.
Yeah.
I think I would have gotten that because I did the math and went backwards.
What about Deuce?
Mac Brown, Deuce. If I took the options, I would have known because I knew when I heard the options.
Yeah.
Pierre Thomas was an option. He was my team.
He was
still in
09,
college.
yeah.
He was still in college.
He was there when they won it in 09.
Correct. And I knew that Reggie. I was like, he's a rookie, and I didn't think. And when I heard Deuce McAllister, I'm like, it's him. So I would have got 1 point there. I probably would have got 2. For the Saquon one, but I might have ended up with 3. I may have fallen on Mac Brown with the options, but maybe not.
I would have probably got 1 with the Garcia.
Yeah. That was a good one. That was a tough one. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Our thank you to Drew. Eric Fedde, could he be dealt at some point before the trade deadline? Some talks kind of emerging over the in spring training that we'll get to next on 101 ESPN. Fastlane on 101 ESPN. According to Derek Gould of STLtoday.com, the Cardinals could entertain trade conversations surrounding Eric Fedde. Gould notes that the club has made clear their desire to maintain their pitching depth this spring, but adds that the club is open to a move that would lower payroll and make room in the rotation for somebody like Michael McGreevy. Gould also notes a major part of Fedde's appeal is the performance at his price. He's a free agent at the end of the season, for which he's owed $7.5 million, a bargain for a reliable starter, let alone one who ranked high among WAR. Do you guys see Eric Fedde being dealt before the deadline? Or even at the deadline? Like, is this a no-brainer for the Cardinals?
It depends on how well he's performing. I think if he's performing, well, yeah. Because who's going to want him if he's not?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like,
yeah.
It's
for some reason, I put myself in the Cardinals' perspective. I'm like,
no. We're talking about other people wanting him.
So like you mean somebody's got to want to acquire him?
There you go.
I got you now.
If they don't want him, why the hell would they? Why would you be able to trade him?
Makes sense, Carey. That's on me.
He's got to be doing a good enough job for people to want him. So. Yeah, if he's doing a good job.
This might be a thing that happens before the trade deadline.
How far before?
Enough time where you think Michael McGreevy is ready to make that next step and be in your rotation full time.
Do you think you'll know that and that's fair. Do you think you'll know that before spring training? Or I'm sorry, during spring training?
I don't know. I don't know what they're looking for, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would put him in right now if I was the manager.
Sure.
But, you know, I'm not. I'm sitting behind a board right now talking to you fellas.
And you're happy about it and you're proud about it. And there's no place you'd rather be.
Would you rather be?
Absolutely.
No, he'd rather be in Florida.
Well, you can't run a board from Florida.
My point exactly.
You probably could. Anthony, we had you from Connecticut.
That's true.
So anything's possible.
With no voice.
With no voice.
A little bit different.
I think, Archie, I don't want to speak for you, but I think he'd rather be in Florida in Jupiter.
I mean, it would be
We're
nice.
not in Florida in Jupiter.
I didn't. You asking me where I'd rather be?
Jupiter is a very gassy planet.
Are you asking me?
Well, I don't need to ask you. I know, Carey,
today
you want to be with us, your closest friends.
There's a giant storm happening in Jupiter.
Oh, well, maybe not
all the
today.
Time.
Carey, you see
a giant
us
eye.
More than anybody else, more than any family member,
this is
more
true.
than your girl. Like, this is your family.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else you'd rather be. I don't have to ask.
Which means that because I see you all so much, I can take a break. Jamie just took a break from us.
It wasn't from you guys.
It was.
It was for that monkey.
It was for Irv. Yeah. I miss him already.
I know you do. I know you do.
Pull up that picture once a day.
We see you sometimes. You'll like kind of slink off to the wall, and you get this like distant look in your eye.
Rubbing on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Irv.
Right, like Irv was there.
Irv was there. Snuggly little bugger.
Yeah.
Anywho, there is, if Eric Fedde is pitching even marginally well, there is no reason that the Cardinals should not deal him. You acquired him last year because he had term and because you wanted to add to your pitching staff because you were in a fake playoff race. Okay. Now you're not.
How much better would it have been to get the other two White Sox players that were available?
Crochet and who? Luis Robert? Luis Robert?
Yeah.
I don't worry about Luis Robert.
I'll take Crochet.
Though, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to get two, get one and then get the
because I also got Pham in that deal. Forgot about that. Pham for 3 weeks.
And he's no longer here.
That guy doesn't run out ground balls.
What happened to him?
Doesn't throw the ball in.
He's no longer here in St. Louis. He's still playing baseball.
I mean, the guy's been stabbed, so you never know what happened.
Yeah, be careful.
You don't know.
Yeah, multiple times, in fact. You got to deal Fedde. I don't know when the right time is, but it makes no sense.
What do you need him for?
It makes no sense.
You need him for depth.
You know what you need him for? To acquire something.
What?
Prospects.
Yeah, okay. You don't need him.
What prospects are you going to get?
Exactly, Carey. Just trade the guy. Get rid of him.
Can we
give him a break?
Can we talk about the fact that you two are fine with the prospects that are already in the Cardinals organization? I don't think you can have enough, especially if it's Fedde that you're giving up.
This is the same. Hold on, Jamie. Let me stop you real quick.
Okay.
Because I don't want to cut you off.
I was getting angry there.
No, I want to stop you real quick. This is the same guy that said you can never have enough pitching.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Dodgers got 45 pitchers starting because they know 20 of them are going to get hurt. Well, you don't want the Cardinals to have.
Who'd you bring up? The Dodgers?
At pitching?
You mean the foregone conclusion World Series champion Dodgers?
Because they got 30
this is not the
pitchers
same.
available when 2 of them get hurt. They got guys ready. Guys on deck.
When you're a contender,
to bet.
When you're a contender, you can never have enough pitching. Or
there you go.
If you're a team that wants to be a contender, I'm assuming at some point again, you can never have enough pitching within your farm system.
So, Anthony, let me ask you a question. One that I was going to ask you a couple minutes ago.
He's stepping for it. I know this is a setup. I don't know what it is, but this is a setup.
I just want to know.
Yeah, let me say something real quick. No, I'm kidding.
Eric Fedde.
Yeah.
What level prospect do you think you're getting for Eric Fedde?
Did you not see this guy last year pitching his rear end
and
off?
I saw him in St. Louis. Wasn't quite the same pitcher.
Well, he's different when he's elsewhere.
Yeah, like Japan.
Yep.
Yeah.
In Chicago.
Nobody's in Japan before that.
Yeah, right.
That's where his career was
or Chicago.
blossoming.
Yeah.
You're getting nothing.
What?
You're getting a low-level
This guy's
prospect.
making nothing,
You're
and
getting
he was
Taylor
dominating
Motter.
last
You're
year.
getting Taylor Motter for Eric Fedde.
But I don't think that's the point, though. The point is to open spots up, right?
For what?
Yeah, for McGreevy.
You're opening spots up for
Graceffo
younger.
was
And
throwing-
your guy.
My guy.
Yeah.
Who's my guy?
Quinn Matthews.
I do like him. Graceffo was throwing unbelievable stuff today.
Well, to the point that you made a couple weeks ago, or hell, it might have been a month ago at this point, but, we talk about the youth movement. Like, this, is it really a youth movement? Because to me, it seems like a quote-unquote youth movement for the guys in the field. Like, if it was
a partial youth movement.
If it was a complete youth movement, some of these older pitchers would have been gone by now, right? To get the other youthful players who are pitchers, also part of the team, give them an opportunity to pitch.
Like Steven Matz threw a gem yesterday. Let's get him out of here.
Yes. You're speaking
what?
With way too much common sense today.
Well, I mean,
too much common sense.
I don't always do it, but when I do, like, I don't know.
Do it on a Monday.
On a Monday, which is typically when you're not having any common sense after a weekend, especially when you're at a kids' trivia event over the weekend.
Thank you, by the way. Nice job.
How'd you guys do, by the way?
We did okay. We held our own.
Yeah.
Marcia and his lovely girlfriend, Rachel, came to our kids' trivia night over the weekend. We had a couple of people that were sick, and I reached out to Marsh and said, hey, you live close. Mm-hmm. Would you and Rachel like to spend a lovely evening with people that are much older than you and her parents? And Marsh said, sign me up. Mm-hmm. I think I got him with the alcohol.
Yeah.
We're going to be drinking.
Yeah,
and
it was fun. BYOB, too.
It was fun, but I had supplies for you. I was like, hey, you don't have to. Yeah. I've got the cooler. You're good.
And we had the Raising Cane's chicken that you were force feeding me these chicken.
How much was I forced? How much was I forced?
I had like 10 of them, and you kept pushing them on me.
You didn't say no.
It was like bigger than a box combo.
Darn right it was.
Was it? Really?
It was a Caniac combo.
It was way more than that.
Those are good, too.
Delicious.
Those box combos are the best.
And then we sang karaoke at the end of the night.
You did. You did a great job. Sing a little Creed for everybody.
My son taught
Creed
me,
voice.
You can change out the coleslaw for an extra
piece of toast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's...
Have you not done that before?
Didn't know it.
Oh, no.
Mind-blowing.
It's like...
He said, Dad, change out the coleslaw.
Yeah. Take that toast,
extra toast.
dip it in the sauce.
I said, you can do that?
Yeah, you can.
He's like, yeah. It's like, whoa.
Nothing against the coleslaw. It's just the toast is
I've met your son before, and I knew he had street smarts. I didn't realize he had that much.
Knew.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
It's delicious.
Taught me something.
Yep.
Like, this is mind-blowing.
You're raising that boy right.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, we did okay. I think out of 100 questions, we got like 82 right or something.
Yeah, we're like
that,
the
right?
Cardinals.
Yeah, exactly. We had a nice Cardinals performance.
Yeah, hovering in the low 80s.
Right we're about average. Yeah, we're
middle of the
average.
pack.
Middle of the pack. Yeah. Cardinals.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Any guesses on...
Now you got it.
Hey, you be serious? Any guesses on what we guessed? How many we'd get right out of 100?
I'm sure you said 90.
Carey?
80. 83.
Nope.
Well, I already know.
What'd you say?
It's Anthony's favorite number.
No.
I said, I got us. I know how many we're going to get right. And we exceeded expectations on that.
We actually got 82 right.
Yeah. Wow. So nice job there, Marsh.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks for attending. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. I don't know what we just talked about in that segment, but I feel like we got a lot accomplished. Yeah. So why don't we do our sports six-pack? More nonsense next here on 101 ESPN.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Major Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues pick up 3 points out of a possible 4 this weekend. A shootout loss against the Winnipeg Jets by a final score of 4-3 and a 3-1 victory over the Colorado Avalanche. The Blues will take on the Seattle Kraken tomorrow. You can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. puck drop is at 7. City SC played to a 0-0 draw over the weekend in their opener against Colorado. We talked a little bit about that. If you missed anything from today's show, including our interview with Jeremy Rutherford, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dodge Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Time for our Sports Six-Pack. If you got a question for us, Air Comfort Service text line is 314-399-9646 with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with your questions.
Question number 1.
From the 314, when J.J. Weatherholt is ready, what would the Cardinals' infield look like?
Oh, I think he's going to second base. I think that once he's ready, Arenado will be gone. So maybe it's Gorman at third or Donovan at third, depending on if the Cardinals still have Gorman or if they've moved on or whatever they're thinking with him. I think you got Mason Wynn at shortstop. You'll have J.J. Weatherholt at second, and you probably still have Contreras or Burleson over at first base at that point. Because Contreras still has time on his contract. With 3 more years?
Yeah, he signed a 5-year deal.
Yeah, so this is year 3, so he's got 2 more years. Weatherholt will probably be here in 2 years. Like this
I would
year,
think so.
plus another,
Yeah. Boy, so much changes.
So I think that's what your infield would look like.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think your profile is best as a second baseman.
Well, he's a
shortstop, and then
if you've got Donovan playing third, Gold Glove utility guy.
Yeah,
Mason Wynn could be in the Gold Glove conversation again. He was last year, and you got Burleson or Contreras at first. I'm not suggesting they're Gold Glovers, but they're efficient, so not bad.
Not bad.
I like
Second base.
He's at second base, yeah. Gorman at third, more than likely.
Or Donovan.
Or we'll see. I mean,
we don't know who's going to be.
I think it's open at the corners in 2 years. You never know.
Really?
I'm not saying definitely. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Okay. I won't argue with you on that one.
All right, fair enough.
All right, maybe the next one.
Question number 2.
From a 661, let's say you're hitting your midlife crisis, and the boss at home says you can only pick one. Are you going with a jet ski, a little red coupe, a motorcycle, or an RV? Which one are you guys going with?
I'm doing whatever the hell I want. The boss at home. I'm the boss of my kingdom.
Fair enough.
What, Carey? You feel differently?
I just wanted to just answer the question that was asked, sir.
Then you go ahead and answer it. You're better than me. You answer
Not the question you want to answer, Jamie. Jamie.
You've really got problems.
I got answer and Jamie. I said,
well, then
Amy.
answer the question.
Hey, Carey.
Okay, quit reprimanding
Carey.
me. You answer the damn
happens.
question.
Yeah, it happens.
I can find tickets with something on time.
That was hilarious. That was a answer of all answers.
I don't know what D word I combined it with, but
I do.
You did. Yeah, that was very interesting. I'm going to say RV. I do want to get an RV and go.
No, you don't.
No, I do.
I've had
like one of the nice, not one of the. I had like a nicer one.
You don't think I had a nice one?
No, I mean no. I'm saying like.
No, Jamie, we know.
No,
we all
yours,
know.
Jamie.
No, Jamie, we all know you have a nice one.
Why not? Why not an RV?
Because you'll use it a couple of times. And one, storing it is massive pain. You got to find somewhere you can store it. 2, the upkeep of it. It's like a boat. Like the moment you buy a boat, you're fixing it up all the time. And the RV is no different. Between the pop outs and all that, the hydraulics go. You got it's a lot of stuff that happens. I had one. I used it for like a couple months, and then I sold it.
It was that bad?
Yeah. It was fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, when everything's operational, you get there, you set it up, you pop out the sides, whatever, and say you got the kids. It's great. It's great.
And then
it's not great. Yeah. So, but, Carey, this
you just talked me out of it now.
This is your dream.
No,
go ahead and spend $100,000.
What were the choices? RV?
Jet ski.
A
little red coupe or a motorcycle.
Yeah, I don't think I'm getting any of those.
I'm not getting any of those. I'd love a motorcycle again, but I don't think that's.
Well, there's a documentary with Robin Williams in it about an RV, and it didn't really go well. Didn't really go well.
Let me tell
There's
you,
a documentary.
emptying the bathroom.
Oh, is it terrible?
It's an adventure. If you're not careful.
I ain't think about that. Doesn't just empty as you're driving.
Hey, Clark.
I mean, you can open it, but it's highly frowned upon and illegal.
Is it?
Yes.
Sometimes family members pass away up top. You don't even know about it.
True.
And the RV.
Strapped to the top.
Wow.
Just keep driving.
Is that on that documentary?
It was a different one.
Different one. Okay. I saw a documentary one time where a fake family goes on a very important road trip.
Yeah.
And they used the RV and went across state lines and things like that. Boy, a lot of things happened in that one.
They had a baby, too.
Yeah.
A sack of flour.
No regrets.
It was a great documentary.
Yep, that was, yeah. So I'm going to say, I'm going to politely decline on all those.
Wow. You guys just don't want to play a game, huh?
Well, no, I do.
I said I'd take the motorcycle.
Well, that was after you said the boss at home.
I am.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I know. Why you coming at me then?
Well, I was just answering the question. Hey.
All of a sudden, Carey's just going to answer the question. I'm just going to stick to the question. We're going to stay in the lane here.
I try to color inside the lines. Every now and then.
I don't even know who you are right now. Don't. Like, I see you, but it's not you.
It's Monday, man.
Go ahead, Marsh. Why don't you go ahead and fire off one more?
It's hot as hell in here.
We'll get to part
terrible.
2.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Man. Yeah.
Question number 3.
All right, from the 618. So the Blues, 2 coaches later, and absolutely no better off without Chief. What gives?
Yeah, Jamie, what gives?
I missed it. I was reading the text. What?
Blues, they've had 2 coaches.
Yeah.
2 coaches later, and absolutely no better off without Chief. What gives?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to say that Monty's better than Chief. I mean, Chief is Stanley Cup champion, unbelievable dude, cut from the same cloth, really, as Jim Montgomery, which is why him and Monty worked so well together here when Monty was an assistant coach. But I think the Blues are in great hands. I do. I think that Jim Montgomery is a very process-oriented coach. Not to say that Chief wasn't. I'm just focusing on Jim Montgomery. And I think that having coached college hockey helps Monty in this situation, because when you're coaching college hockey and you have your first recruiting class, you have to build the program with those guys, and each year you expand, the so-called playbook of what you're doing, and every year it gets better. So Monty with a 5-year deal. It's kind of like a college football coach coming in with the first recruiting class. Monty will have his first recruiting class going into next year. He was given this team with no say in the roster. He'll have more of a say moving forward, I would imagine. So I'm excited. I think Monty's doing a good job, man. All the things that he's focusing on, all the things that he's talking about, some of the things that he's putting in there for the team to utilize, the tools. It's great. And I loved his answer when he was on here with us, and he talked about how he took the power play coach and basically said, pick apart my penalty kill. Took the penalty kill coach, pick apart the power play. How would you beat our power play? How would you beat our penalty kill? And you learn that way. I mean, anytime you can self-evaluate as a club independently, so not everybody's sitting there and I don't want to hurt so-and-so's feelings because this is his power play. But then when you can get a true scouting report of a breakdown of what you see, that's huge. It's great. Yep. So I'm confident with the Blues right now. At least I'm confident in the coaching that they're receiving.
I'm reading about the RV. Wow. 309 says make sure the dark water flap is closed on your RV. Had that experience in Vegas one time. You never forget your first time.
Wow. Good. Yeah.
And make sure you unplug it when you're about to leave.
Oh.
Yeah.
You did that too?
No, I saw it happen, though.
All right, part 2 of the Sports Six-Pack is coming up. 314-399-9646. There comes our sex line. And we will get to part 2 next. Sports Six-Pack right now, 314-399-9646, the Air Comfort Service tax line. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with question 4, please.
Question number 4.
All right, the 618.
618?
Yeah, the 618.
Wow.
It's not even really a question. It's just more of a...
I was about to say, he typically doesn't ask questions unless they're rhetorical, like, how bad do you morons think the Cardinals are? Like something like that.
Yeah, it's just more of a statement
at least he
here.
said that. Usually it's just, how bad are you morons?
Oh, that's
usually the follow-up question.
It is.
So the 618 says, I know you guys won't actually talk about it, but we keep talking about Wynn and Walker like the Cardinals would actually extend, but they want to be like Tampa Bay and Cleveland. So I expect the Cardinals will just trade away anybody before they actually extend them or even try to make real money. That's the Tampa and Cleveland way.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Do you guys want to talk about it?
Meh.
Excuse me. We've got it on good authority that that's not going to be the case. They will operate using the Tampa and Cleveland model in terms of like actually drafting and developing those players, but not trading them away like Tampa typically does.
They're wanting to retain their star younger players. Like if Walker is good and Wynn is good, the Cardinals, when it comes time for that arbitration period, they're wanting to eat up some of those ARB years and sign them. That's what they're saying anyways.
So, I know that's not going to convince you of anything there, 618, but take it for what it is.
Until it happens. Until it happens, then he's seeing is believing for the 618.
I'm just not. I'm gonna channel my inner 618.
618.
I'm not getting enough from you guys.
You're not getting enough.
I'm not getting enough.
Okay. What if I go into like a kind of like an angry rant?
Yeah, I think that would help, Anthony.
My foot. I thought he was underneath the damn desk grabbing my foot.
There's a divider there.
Pull it back. You hit my foot.
There's a divider there where your foot shouldn't be on that side.
Oh, don't you start about the border here, buddy. Carey's playing with something here. I don't know what the hell he's got. It hit my foot. I was like, somebody underneath the table grabbing my foot? Then I'm like, there's no way Carey's leg is that long. Anyways, sorry, guys.
All right, we apologize. This is every day with this guy. I love you, though.
You didn't.
You know what? This is what the problem is. The 618 has a genuine concern, and you guys are talking about you guys are playing footsies under the damn table.
Thank you, Marsh.
It's Tampa and Cleveland. The Cardinals are not that. We've discussed this. They're the St. Louis Cardinals. There's a standard and an understanding of who we are and where we are. It ain't Cleveland, all right? It ain't the factory of sadness. It ain't the mistake by the lake, all right? How many championships they got, Anthony?
Not many.
There you go. Any?
None.
I didn't think so.
Well, I think they probably have some.
Before in life,
They have
ever?
Calder Cup.
I think they have like a baseball title or something, right?
Before it was MLB?
No. They had one because when the Cubs played the Cleveland Indians at the time, they both had like one of the longest droughts ever, Bob.
Oh, they got 2 championships. Don't know what year that would be.
What sport?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
What sport? Baseball?
Baseball.
Yeah.
1948.
I don't even know if they were the Indians. They might have been the Spiders.
They were the Indians in 1920.
It's the Richmond
and
Spiders.
1948.
The San Francisco
The Cleveland
Spiders.
Monsters have a championship.
Oh, the Cavs have one.
Yeah.
The Cavs have one.
What?
They got 2 championships. None of us were alive in this room to see it. 1948 and 1920. So it's not like we would know.
Hambone Williams was on that team.
He might have been.
Schoolboy Row. He was
actually one of the veterans that they picked up for veteran leadership.
You wanted to be there.
Schoolboy Row. He was only there for 1 year, but it was a good year.
It's a hell of a year.
Yeah. They had
Question number 5.
Lou Boudreau won an MVP that year.
All right. See? Good to know.
All right, we have some more animosity from the text line here from Harrison's brother Master.
Oh, boy.
Homer isn't answering the question, going back to the Blues question, why hasn't anything changed for the Blues?
Why don't you talk about it for once, Jamie?
Yeah, Homer.
Simpson.
What? Why hasn't anything changed?
Yeah. Why isn't this team
but that's a broad
title winner?
question. Like, what, player-wise? Wins? Like, I don't know. Like, what needs to change? I mean, obviously you want to win and be in the playoffs. But why hasn't anything changed? Because the roster's not good enough.
And whose fault is that?
Well, people who are in charge, Anthony, not mine.
Why don't you say that?
I think that person knows.
Jamie, you are in charge from what we get from the text line. You have more pull than
Army?
Than you let on. All right?
No.
You know, if I may, what's his name? Masterclass something or other?
Harrison's Master.
Yeah, Harrison's brother.
Master.
Harrison Bader's brother, Masters. If I may, if you're wanting Jamie, in this case, to like really crush the Blues, what you're wanting more than that is just an echo chamber. So I would find said echo chamber and I would just start shouting all the things you want. Okay? So like, Blues, I need a Blues win a title. These guys suck, blah, blah, blah. Just shout it.
Shout it.
And then it'll come back to you. It'll reverberate and it'll go right in your ear hole.
Yes.
And you'll start to feel better.
Feel better.
But I think what I'm saying is there's a hole.
There's a hole
in your heart that you're trying to have somebody else fill. In this case, it's Jamie.
Jamie, Homer.
And Jamie will fill holes.
Yes, he will.
For himself and other people.
That's 100%
in his life.
Absolutely.
But he can't do that for you, Harrison Bader's brother Masters. So
that was
have that
pretty damn good.
Have that heart, that hole filled by somebody else, preferably yourself. Because then you'll be better for it. And you won't constantly be seeking. This isn't the first time you've done this. Harrison Brothers Masters, name Masters. I mean, you've probably done this in other areas of your life where you're reaching out to somebody else and you're yelling at them, all because you're hurt. And I hate that for you, Harrison Bader's Brothers Masters. I really do.
I don't think you hate it as much as you.
But stop the hate at Jamie.
He can't fix it.
Fill your hole right now.
Not right now.
Hey, we get to see Harry Bader opening day.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
On the Twins.
That's going to be the Harrison Bader versus Hellman's guy.
Yeah.
Hellman's guy.
It's going to be exciting. I'm excited for it. All right, Marsh, are we done here?
No, we have one more.
Oh, okay.
Question number 6.
From the Water Boy. If you were a top prospect for the upcoming NFL draft, would you work out at the Combine?
Yes.
If you're a top prospect, no.
Yeah, I would.
For what?
Because I'm not afraid of competition ever. You want to see me throw, I'm going to throw. You want to see me run, I'm going to run. You want to see me bench, I'll bench. That's just my mentality on it. That's all.
If you're a top 5 pick and there's nothing to be gained, you can show up. You can still show up, do the interviews, because that's really what they want to see. Sometimes they do want to see you. Yeah, and the medicals. Sometimes they want to see you compete. But more times than not, if they have you projected as a top 5 pick, top 3 pick, they are comfortable with who you are. Now, the measurables can change. Like if Travis Hunter goes in there and maybe he's a little bit shorter or a little bit slighter than what they thought he was, that could change something in someone's mind, but he's still a ball player. So, yeah, I don't think you necessarily have to compete. What was the guy, the D lineman from Michigan that tore his Achilles? When did that David
that tore his Achilles?
Yeah, tore it at the
Combine. Yeah, man.
The Combine's a joke. Let's just be honest.
No, it's not.
It is.
Drafted by the Ravens.
No, it's a joke. It's just like the NHL Combine. It's a waste. It's a waste. In fact, the NHL Combine is more of a waste than the NFL Combine. And the reason being is that at least the NFL, like you're running on turf.
Ojabu.
You're running on turf and catching the ball, like it's somewhat normal. The NHL Combine, they have them doing all of these drills and exercises, but nothing on the ice. So I used to hate that because there's always like a couple of guys that are like unbelievable at all of these little exercises. Like good vertical, good bench press,
right?
Quick feet through the ladder, pass them the puck, they're lost.
Right.
You're like,
what if I'm a GM and knowing that some GMs fall for that crap, I want the Combine.
The Combine is good for they get to see all the players and talk to them and things like that. I think the interview process is important, although some teams cross the line. They ask dumb questions.
Totally.
They try to set up the kid for failure.
Yeah.
Like why don't you just stick to the basics?
Right.
And that to me is always the biggest thing. Like if a team is asking a player dumb questions that are like on the borderline of like, what the hell are we doing? I don't want my client, my kid playing there.
I'm with you.
Because if they're doing mind games in the Combine, what do you think the mind games are going to be like when you're scratched or not playing? Or
right, seriously.
It's going to be a lot worse. And the Jabo tore his Achilles at Pro Day, not at the Combine. But nonetheless.
It's good to be a Michigan Wolverine. Just not that day. It's fascinating on 101 ESPN. How can the NHL gain momentum following the Four Nations tournament? This is kind of a slippery slope because while everybody enjoyed it, everybody's having fun. Some of the players did not, especially ones that are injured. That's next on 101 ESPN. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers and officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, and Anthony Stalter. How can the NHL continue the momentum that the Four Nations face-off gave the league? This one's kind of it's a slippery slope.
It's easy.
Keep doing it.
More fights.
Whoa. Well, that's one
if
way to do
nothing
it.
else, what it proved was people still want blood. Now, I don't think you go back to like the 90s and you have your hired
Why not?
assassins. No, because the game is, you want the game to be good, but there's nothing that says you can't have good players that throw down every now and then.
Very true.
All
right, so more fighting.
More fighting. Right
Okay.
away, yeah.
All right.
Team full of all-stars for me.
That fight.
That helps.
That fight.
That also fight.
Or
yeah.
that score goals and they're really fast.
No. Nobody cared about the goals.
Well,
Four
yeah.
Nations.
I mean, people are
Did anybody
fast.
talk about the goals? No. They
I
talked
didn't
about
talk-
3 fights in 9 seconds.
That was pretty cool.
Everybody, Hollywood people, interviewed. They're like, yeah, I saw that 3 fights, like for 9 seconds. They didn't say, well, what a goal by Nathan McKinnon, too. No,
Right.
they didn't say that.
No.
Come for the fight, stay for the skill.
I like that.
That's fine. That's fine. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong at all. Because if you are a casual fan and you saw the Four Nations tournament, you love the competitiveness, you love that every game mattered, and you loved, yes, a couple of guys trying to break each other's chiclets out.
Well, it's not even if you're a casual fan. Like people who had never watched a hockey game before. Like I'm watching on social media and they're like looking at somebody, like, hey, look at this. They hand them their phone. Like, oh my God, they're allowed to do this?
Right.
Like, yeah. They're like, yeah, I'm going to watch next game. Anyways, all right.
Splashback Deuce says fireworks and bobbleheads. That only works for Cardinals fans.
And Seattle.
In Seattle. Yeah.
Maybe you start the playoffs now. Because,
That's
no, obviously not. But, playoff hockey, that was playoff hockey.
It was.
It was.
That was playoff hockey. Now you have a little bit of time. And by the time the playoffs start again, maybe you lose that casual fan.
A casual fan is going to always be difficult to retain on a regular basis. It just is, because when they get hooked, it's usually a special moment. So whether it was the 9 seconds, USA Canada 3 fights, they get hooked, right? But it's not long term, because then they watch a bunch of games after that. There's not any fights, and if that's what they're looking for, they're like, that's fine.
Yeah, it's going to be disappointing.
Don't really know the players, don't really know the rules. So the casual fan it's cyclical. I think you pick up, you lose. You pick up, you lose fans along the way throughout the season.
Yeah.
For your normal hockey fan, you don't even have to be hardcore. Just normal hockey fan. I like the timing of when they had the Four Nations, because now almost right away after, you have this trade deadline. So now people are glued to that. Who's getting traded? Who's moving what? Who's a contender? Who's not? Who's buying? Who's selling? So you've kept your interest at least a little bit there. And then the playoffs aren't too far behind. So you're trying to keep people engaged as much as possible, timing-wise.
Yeah, you got a playoff race, though, coming up here in the next, couple of weeks. So teams will start to play playoff hockey leading up into the playoffs. So it could be a good thing. I also think you need some of those bigger names to be on the national stage when they play those games on ESPN and TNT.
Does this, I agree. Is it even possible, though? Is it even possible to build off the momentum of what the Four Nations
It's tough to recreate that, because it was...
The most appealing thing was these guys that cared. They cared. Not that the players don't care in a regular season as well, but
they bought into the tournament.
They bought into the tournament. It was a shortened tournament, which helps as well. And it was the best players that the NHL could offer. You can't recreate that. In a regular season.
No, you can't. Look, the NHL has done a real good job of growing the game. The viewership is up year after year, which is why the salary cap is going up, because revenues are soaring. This is why the players aren't paying escrow right now, because the owners are not losing money, which means whatever they're doing currently, it is working. But I do think it's important that every now and then you have a massive spike within your sport. Something happens. Whether it's the Four Nations and you've got the 3 fights in 9 seconds, whether it's the Olympics next year and you've got several countries that are very competitive, something, whether it's a playoff series that, like last year's Stanley Cup final. That was great stuff. You're up 3-0. The best player in the world drags his team back to a Game 7.
Right.
Florida ends up winning it, but you had an entire country up in Canada watching their team play in the Stanley Cup final. You had a lot of fans who were probably not regular hockey fans down in the Florida area. That building was jammed. I mean, you couldn't buy a seat, and that helped that. So every now and then it's going to be like a spike.
Yeah.
A spike.
Yep.
Help things out.
What about for the players that are injured now? Is this something that GMs, execs are not really going to love moving forward? Is this a one-off? Will they do this in 6 years, or what does this look like?
They're talking about doing this so they're talking about at 2-year intervals. So like we take this for instance, you had 4 nations here. The Olympics happens to be next year, but they're talking about 2 years after the Olympics, doing another 4 or 5 nations if Russia gets involved in that. Then 2 years after that, naturally it's the Olympics again. Then 2 years after that, another tournament, like some kind of a World Cup. They're trying to do it every couple of years. Look, there's always going to be injuries in these things, and especially when guys went at it as hard as they did in this tournament. It stinks because you probably lost your best player or one of your best players in the process. But, I said what I say when the tournament was going on. The players love it. The fans love it. The president and the owners of these teams don't love it.
Yep.
They're holding their breath. They love the excitement, but they're sitting there on pins and needles.
Yeah, very true. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN 511. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Are the Blues far off from where the Capitals are right now? If you look at where the Capitals were a couple of years ago and their kind of retool process, Marsh actually sees some similarities between the two. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. So Blues Views on Twitter at STL Blues Views said the Capitals' run this year brings hope that maybe the reboot style STL is trying can work. Both the Blues and Capitals are on similar timelines since winning the Cups. Washington's the best team in hockey and doing it without any current superstar. It's very impressive. Tweets out Blues Views. Now, Marsh, I know you really like this, and you presented this to us.
Yes.
The Caps haven't really relied on the draft either. Their success has mostly been through buying low guys like Strome, PLD, Chychrun, and Sandin. It may be sustainable, but it's a bit encouraging from STL's current perspective, but it's going to take a lot more action from Army. And I will say, helps when you have a captain like Ovi that's been through it all. Keeping Carlson as their anchor on the blue line was key too. Unfortunately, that ship sailed a long time ago in St. Louis. Do you see any similarities potentially, Jamie, between Washington and the Blues in terms of their retool and the way they go about it? Or do you just have some general thoughts on the fact that the Capitals, like they suggested, they haven't really done it through the draft. They've been able to kind of pick and choose and do what Army has done to a certain extent of late. Holloway, Broberg.
To a certain extent, but they also have a guy named Alex Ovechkin who's still very relevant.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Never heard of him?
I haven't, no.
Oh, he wasn't in that Four Nations face-off,
No.
you know.
He must be a bum then.
Total bum.
Anyways, Alex Ovechkin, even though he's an older player, is still a superstar in the NHL. I mean, 3 goals last night. I mean, it's incredible watching this guy play. That helps you. You also have Tom Wilson, who's having a career year. I think he's already got 26 goals. That'd be the highest point total he's had. You've got Strome, who's refound his game at the NHL level. You've got solid defense core. You got great goaltending right now for the Washington Capitals. I mean, you look at Logan Thompson. He's got a .920 save percentage. Charlie Lindgren, old Chucky Sideburns, .901 save percentage. So those guys are doing a good job just holding the fort down between the pipes. They've got a very mid to upper mid veteran group, like Lars Eller's back, but he's just a solid player. Matt Roy's a solid player. Trevor Van Riemsdyk on defense, just a solid player. So Washington has, what they've been able to do is kind of like Army, kind of pluck veteran players, but they're getting the best out of those guys right now. So they plucked the right ones. So like you go back to Army, when he picked up Kapanen and Verana. If that would have worked out, you got team speed and a little offense from those guys, 15, 20 goals a year.
Yeah.
Then where are the Blues? It's much different right now.
Right.
If you've got 2 guys on your roster, each of them are 15 to 20 goal scorers, your team looks different. Didn't work out.
Yeah.
Tried with Kevin Hayes. Didn't work out. There's guys that Washington have picked up too. Last year they tried to pick up some guys. Didn't work out. You keep trying to change the mix until you find something that works. And right now they found a group that really works well together. And they've got Spencer Carberry, the head coach, excellent head coach. He's an excellent head coach. I'm not saying he's better than Jim Montgomery, but that's a similarity. 2 excellent head coaches for both teams. Now, I would say that the overall veterans that the Capitals have up front, anyways, are probably exceeding what you have here in St. Louis as far as your veteran guys are concerned.
Yep.
Pierre-Luc Dubois, he was a lost cause all over the place. Traded from Winnipeg to L.A. L.A. didn't want him anymore. They got rid of him to Washington. He's got 48 points from 57 games. He's refound his game. He's a 13-goal scorer right now. Big power.
Fastlane yourself, L.A.
Yeah. So that
And everywhere else.
That to me is the biggest thing right now. And John Carlson's got 38 points in 57 games. He's your power play defenseman back there. So that's kind of where I'm at. Old Jacob Verana's playing too. He's still there. He's only played 25 games, but he's 11 points in 25 games.
Jamie, what about like NHL overall? Because we know there's in different leagues, there's a kind of a best practice when it comes to building your roster. Like in the NFL, I personally, Carey, if you disagree, let me know. But I think it's building through the draft. That's your best way. It's the best way to not circumvent the cap, but give yourselves an opportunity to have cost control players, and that's also add when your quarterback's not making a contract, right? Or have a big contract. So that's the best way to add there. The best way to build a roster in baseball is to be in a big market and spend money and, buy your team. That's the best way to do it in baseball. Only 4 teams can do that.
Yeah.
Which is why baseball's kind of suffering right now, in my opinion. But again, best way to do it in baseball is to absolutely buy your championship, Dodgers. But in the NHL, What is best practice?
The NHL, the problem with the NHL is it's very cyclical, meaning once you win a Stanley Cup, you're almost guaranteed 3-4 years later to be going through what the Blues are going through. You know, what a lot of teams end up going through. Because you go all in, you have this master class of players, and then following that, you can't hang on to everybody. Mm-hmm. You just can't. And you're a good team, so you're not getting a really high draft pick. And you've probably traded away your higher draft picks to acquire players that make you a contender. So now the cupboards are empty there as well. So then just like, Washington's had to try and retool this thing, like so many teams over the years have had to try and retool everything that they're doing. The teams that do it the best are ones that are willing to sacrifice current roster players. What I mean by that is you find a mid to lower top-end player, whether it's a forward or a defenseman, and at some point during the cycle, you got to trade them. And you got to keep trying to get draft picks. Get a first-rounder, get a second-rounder. Like, you're losing a very good player, but if you want to stay in that window and not have the drop-off, then you have to keep acquiring draft picks because you always use the draft picks to acquire players to create your contender.
Yeah.
Very seldom does a team is a team able to draft, develop, and create this contender unless they've hit rock bottom for a good number of years. Like when the Avs were terrible, they were bad.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 years, terrible. The Leafs, forever they were bad. That's how they got Marner, Matthews, Nylander, Riley. Like, that's how you get players like that because they're terrible. So teams that want to stay competitive all the time, very seldom do you get those top 10, let alone top 5 draft picks. So you have to get creative and find a way to acquire picks that are high. You won't get a top 5 pick from anybody, but you might get a top 10 pick depending on the player that you're trading away. So it's very difficult. The goalposts are constantly moving for NHL GMs, and you add in something called the salary cap, and that really complicates things because the Red Wings, way back in the 90s, early 2000s, they drafted and developed players, but they had the luxury of doing it on their time, like Zetterberg, Datsuk, Cronwall, all these guys. They didn't need them. We don't need those guys, so just let them develop. It's fine. And Zetterberg was a 7th-round pick. Datsuk was a 6th-round pick. So they had great scouting. Thomas Holmstrom was a late pick. Like, the Red Wings scouting staff nailed it. Mm-hmm. But they also every year could go get guys at the deadline. Chris Chelios, Robert Lang, Matthew Schneider, Dominic Hasek. Like, there's no salary cap, so it's easy to plug the holes on the boat when you just, you've always got endless resources.
And the off seasons are always outstanding too. You're talking about guys like Jamie Rivers.
That was top priority. I saw it on the board.
Damn right.
Yeah.
I think to answer the first part of the question, the Blues, you talked about the Capitals, they got a superstar. Like, and we've talked about this time and time again, like not having a superstar. I even asked you during the break, the game yesterday, Blues had a couple of chances, breakaways, and it looked like they were looking to pass. And Nathan McKinnon gets a breakaway, and he's going straight to the net. Like, the hell with you all. And you said, well, he's faster than those guys. So you need guys that have speed and have the talent or have that ability or have that kind of that dog in them, for lack of a better word, that want to be goal scorers and are attacking the net and putting pucks on net. And even though Ovi is 37, he's leading their team in goals, and he has more goals than anybody on the Blues has right now. So he's still a superstar, which goes to your other point where if you're a team that is not picking high in the draft, it's hard to get those guys. It's hard to find that game-changing, game-breaking superstar when you're drafting 16, 17, 18, late 20s,
or maybe you don't even have a first-round pick.
Or maybe you don't have one, right? Because those guys are going top 3.
Yeah.
And then they're done. And if you're not in that spot, you're missing out. And so... And you're not going to be, you very rarely are able to trade for one of those guys. Like, it's extremely hard to trade for one of those guys. So I think that's where the Blues are. You have to hit on your draft picks. You have to hope that one of those other guys become that superstar level, even if they aren't drafted in the first 3 picks.
We get a text here from 314, and it says, Jamie, what are the Lightning doing right? They were a dynasty, and they're still good now. Well, when Steve Yzerman went there, they were terrible. They were at the bottom of the NHL, which is how they got Victor Hedman, Nikita Kucherov, Vasilevsky. Like, they accrued really good young players, and that became their foundation along with Steven Stamkos. The Lightning are going to be in for a struggle bus here in the next couple of years. Some of their players are older. They're at the back nine of their career, and they don't have any draft picks. Like, they're starting to try and acquire those picks, but they've used up that inventory quite a bit.
Sure.
Let's go back even further. Chicago Blackhawks. They had a dynasty, too. One, where were they before that dynasty? Where are they now?
Terrible, and I don't even know if they're in the league anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were awful. So awful that the Chicago Wolves were beating them with attendance.
Yeah.
The Chicago Wolves, by the way, is a minor league team.
Chicago Wolves are pretty cool, though. You know that.
It's great. It is, but it's not the NHL.
I think they were so bad they weren't even on TV.
Well, that was the owner. He decided that he wasn't going to put the team on TV because he thought it would force people to go to the rink and watch the games.
How'd that work out?
Which means they're bad, though.
So here's what happened, though, is Don Levin, who owns the Chicago Wolves, he contacted the TV station that the owner dropped, and he had all the Wolves games televised locally.
So smart.
And it drove up the market for his team because everybody knew that team. Oh, I want to go see this Chicago Wolves team. So, but we're digressing here a little bit. But the Blackhawks were terrible is how they got Taves, Kane, Keith, Seabrook, Crawford. Like, you acquire the draft picks and you get the players and you develop them, and then you hope that you go on a run like that 6, 7, 8, even 10 years. I mean, look at the Blues. Go back and look at the 06-07 season, terrible. You ended up Eric Johnson, your first-round pick, your first overall pick, but then it was bad. And then the Blues went on a run of, 10 years in a row in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Contender in some of those years.
Couple of years, yeah.
Conference final against the Sharks. Lost that one, Anthony. You son of a gun, you. And then they go on and win the Stanley Cup. But it's because they had all those players that they were able to get over the years.
So they need to miss the playoffs is what I'm hearing.
A bunch.
Well, you need to really miss the playoffs. And
you can't be bad. You got to be terrible.
You've got to be awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
To get that top.
Yeah, and then your fan base has to be able to endure awful.
Right.
We're not good enough to be awful.
Really not.
We're too good to be awful.
Yeah, that's the thing that a lot of people don't know. Like, you're not bad. You're not terrible. You're average. And that's going to be a little tougher to build things. All right, we got Bet the Board next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Hey, running out of time here for the Love at First Drive sales event at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. It ends this week, so last chance to take advantage of the new Nissans that are discounted up to $10,000 off. Sales prices starting under $23,000 on select models with over 700 new and used vehicles all in one location. Heavily discounted prices on every vehicle in stock. You're bound to find the right car, truck, van, SUV, whatever you're looking for at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. 2025 Nissan models also come with a free lifetime warranty and 3 free oil changes. Plus, get peace of mind with their 30-day return promise within 30 days. If you're not completely in love with the vehicle or the sales experience, bring the vehicle back. They'll refund your money, set you up with something else. 0 down and no payments for 3 months on select used vehicles and no payments for 6 months on select new Nissans. All right now during the Love at First Drive sales event at Auto Centers Nissan. Plus, great low finance rates with terms of up to 84 months. Speaking of financing, credit issues, stuck in a current loan, no problem. There's going to be some other dealerships that overpromise and underdeliver when it comes to the financing options. Not Auto Centers Nissan. They're confident that anyone that walks through the door can drive away in a brand new Nissan. It's AutoCentersNissan.com. When you head out to Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. If you missed anything from today's show, including our discussions on your St. Louis Blues, your St. Louis Cardinals, and your St. Louis City SC, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our interviews, including the one we had today with Jeremy Rutherford, and all of our shows. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Companies. Just head to that podcast page. You'll find all of it, especially if you missed anything from today's show. Don't miss the Blues game tomorrow night, though, as they take on the Seattle Kraken. You can listen to that right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Jamie Rivers is... Well, he is awesome, Anthony, but he's really taken hold of Bet the Board this month.
It's over.
We'll see if we can stop him and catch up with Bet the Board next, right here on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Last night on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. As Andrew Marsh pointed out during the Sports Center update, this month is over. Jamie has essentially won. We're just kind of playing for second place at this point.
Did you guys all use your parlays yet?
It's like Vince Carter in the dunk contest.
No, sir.
You haven't?
No, and I can't.
Haven't you?
I don't know.
Yeah, you did.
You did.
I don't know.
No, you did. I wrote it down, Anthony. Or
we would have remembered. Don't you damn it, Marshy him.
What's going on?
You be all right?
Carey, you're only down by 2.
I might
shuffling the deck there a little bit.
No, it's hot. Trying to let a little air in.
Let him do what he wants.
Damn, Carey.
It's warm in here, man.
It is.
It is now.
So basically, what we need.
What?
We need Jamie to miss every single pick this week.
Oh, not going to happen.
For us to have a chance.
For us to have a chance.
Have you used your parlay?
I have. I used it on the Super Bowl.
Okay, so 2 down. How far behind is Anthony?
5.
Hey, don't worry. I'll put together a nice 5-teamer. Hit 4 of them.
Oh, that's right. That happened last time to you.
That's happened 3 times to me now.
It's not over.
Maybe you should go 4 teams then.
It won't work.
Just saying.
And
doesn't work that
fall
way.
1 short, Carey? Again?
Maybe.
Just so I could say I hit a 4-teamer? Come on, Carey.
Carey's only down by 2.
Yeah, Carey's right there. He's nipping at my heels. Yeah. Okay. I'm going NHL here. I'm going with the old power play points. The Winnipeg Jets playing Anthony's San Jose Sharks.
Not my Sharks.
Yeah. Kyle Connor. The over-under set at half a power play point. I will go over. It's plus 185.
I think I called Kyle Connor CC one time.
Yeah, it's Casey.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Give me Nikola Jokic. Points, rebounds, and assists. Oh, and it just went down. 50.5.
Ooh.
He's not playing. I just saw him.
Well, then I'll have 2 at the end of the month.
No, you won't.
Yeah,
it's your fault for not knowing, Carey.
Nah. People get scratched late after our show. No way for us to know.
Yeah.
That cost me last time.
Kyle Connor.
That cost me last time. All right. As I often like to say, it's good to be a Michigan Wolverine. It's good to be a Michigan Wolverine. It's good to be a Michigan Wolverine. I'm not taking Michigan. I'm going to take... They're in Lincoln, Nebraska tonight. I'm going to take Colorado plus 6.5 because KU sucks. So I'm going to take the Buffs plus 6.5 tonight. Home dog against a Kansas Jayhawk team that can't do squat right now.
You're going against the Jayhawks?
Damn right I am.
Give me Adrian Kempe 3+ shots on goal tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights at minus 145.
All right, there you have it. We got one from Cat Dad Gamer. How does no one talk about our AHL goalie, Colton Ellis, who is about ready to take the jump to the NHL, but because of Binnington, and I put on that extra stank because that's how I read it, we'd be losing out
I talked about him last week. In fact, we talked about him Friday.
Yep, you did.
I said if the Blues moved on from Jordan Binnington,
then Ellis and Hofer can combine.
Yeah, Ellis having a hell of a year down in the American Hockey League, doing a real good job.
Could dominate the league.
He could.
But because of Binnington.
Whoa.
That's
That's how Cat Dad Gamer said it.
I don't know if that's
He's
how he
probably
said it. That's
Canadian.
how you're reading it.
That's how he said it.
Thank you, Carey. Cat Dad Gamer, obviously a Canadian.
Why?
Because most Canadians don't like Binnington.
Oh, no, they love him now.
He's one of us now.
Oh, yeah, they love him now. I'm watching all the interviews they're doing, and they're like, oh, yeah, this guy, you're 12.
I always knew you could do it.
Yeah, this guy's on my team no matter what.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Really?
Really, okay.
These colors don't run, they say.
What?
Your face was amazing. You're like, yeah. All right. So we got some college hoops going on tonight. You got Blues and Kraken tomorrow. Pregame starting at 6 o'clock. Puck will drop at 7 o'clock. Jamie will be on the call, so he'll be with us from 2 to 4 tomorrow.
Correct.
Couple of hours with the James Sauce here on 101 ESPN.
Is he sauced? Is that why you?
He might be.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
Not right now.
Not now. No.
No, he'll wait. He'll wait till he goes
you
home.
Gave me at the house the other night.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, what'd you guys have?
It had like a moose on the top of it. It was
Caribou Crossing. It is the Canadian.
Caribou, huh?
I call it the Canadian Blantons.
Okay.
It is good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Then there was some Knob Creek.
Smoked maple.
Oh.
It's like drinking water.
Yep.
But not really.
Not really.
Not really. Now that the bar's set up, it's all on display and everything.
There you go. Good.
I'll be back over there.
Isn't the bar outside?
He gave me a key.
What? The bar outside not set up yet. No, the bar inside. Set up.
Bar inside.
He gave me a key.
That makes
He doesn't remember, but he did.
Carey, you're always welcome. I'll give you the code.
I'll be there.
To the house. I don't mind.
Pop up.
The dogs love you. You're all set.
That sounds really cool, but I don't know if that compares to Anthony's red cooler.
A whole bunch of stuff in the red cooler. That red cooler, I looked in my fridge and I go, yeah, I'll just grab everything.
Hey, did you notice? Did you get a text? Because they had a thing.
Yeah, nope.
They didn't invite me
I had
or
to see
you.
it on Instagram.
Wow, I didn't know about it. I mean, you had a thing and you invited everyone.
Everybody.
But they had a thing, and neither one of them shot us.
It just lets you know where you're at.
It's kind of
Carey.
weird.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Well,
and then the best excuse I don't know what he's going to say, but the best excuse, well, you were busy, or I knew you were
you
short
stayed
notice.
far.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Yeah.
Don't put anything in my mouth for that matter.
I didn't get a message. Wow.
Jamie, you were at Enterprise Center.
Oh, there it is. You could have still
calling
asked.
the Blues game.
I was at home.
Carey, you were with your girl.
She likes to drink and trivia.
And she's very intelligent.
Very.
Well, I apologize. Okay, if we had 4,
Ashley was
open
available.
seats,
She likes to have a good time.
if
She's
we
very
had
smart.
5 open seats, I would have invited everybody. Okay.
Well, you
But
said you
Marsh
had 4.
lived right down the street.
You said you had 4 open
No, 2 open seats.
No, you said 4.
No, 2.
Oh, whatever.
Marsh and Rachel subbed in.
I think they're an excellent choice. I have nothing nothing negative to say about Marsh.
It sounds like
mostly
you
you.
got an issue.
No, issues with you.
Just didn't get an invite.
And you guys say that you say you invited us last week. I don't remember an invite, Marsh.
Yeah, Marsh does. You can't lie about
Actually,
that.
I think I did get invited, but I don't remember you getting invited.
Thank you.
I'm being serious.
I turned to you and I said, literally, I'm like, you're welcome to come, but I know you've got a million things with the kids. He said, yeah, I can't go here. You shot it to him right away. You didn't even fake text your wife to find out. Like,
Hey,
you would have known.
Do we have
honey, the fake
anything?
text and it.
No, can't do it.
Riv, we got a thing. Sorry. Yeah, Kristen.
We got a thing. It's called Kids.
I just watched this movie yesterday called Ricky, like Stenicki or something, with Zac Efron's in it, and it's about this like made up friend that they have, where they like if anything going on, they'll just like. Oh yeah, Ricky. It's Ricky's
just had surgery.
Yeah.
Yes.
birthday.
And then they'll
That's a
go
good
to
idea.
like a concert or something.
That's a really good idea.
And then if they get in trouble, they're like, Ricky made us do it. Until like they actually had to go find a real Ricky to play Ricky. It's a pretty funny movie.
I like when people say like, oh yes, kids are throwing up, or like, I don't feel well, the wife's running 102 fever, and then like 2 days later you see on social media that they're like out somewhere else. Like,
love our family.
I love it so much.
Love my healthy family.
Yeah, everybody's partying, like the beers are up. Yeah.
You lying, Saka.
The best part is when they say, "Oh no, I'm busy that day. I haven't told you the day yet." Yeah, I
No,
didn't give you
all the
day.
days. And ever.
Yeah, what day? I'm busy. I'm busy. You don't even know what day it is.
Yeah, but I'm real busy.
Yeah, I'm busy. I got that thing.
Splashback Deuce brings up a good point, Marsh. Every table that beat us on Saturday is a horrible person.
Oh, that is true.
Every person.
That is true.
Every table.
Wow.
Irv the monkey made us do it.
Irv the monkey showed up in the snake pit today and said it's good to be missed.
He is missed.
Yeah. All right, we will wrap up the show next. Have a session of what we learned today. 3 stars of the day, criticisms and compliments, all next on 101 ESPN.
Listen up, St. Louis. If you are currently thinking about selling your home or you've had those initial discussions with your husband or your wife and you're just not sure of things, let me help you out. Call my friend Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She is the best in the business. She's been doing it for over 20 years. And the best thing about Gloria is there's no bad questions. Any question that you have, she's going to have an answer for you or a strategy that can help sell your home. And she understands the market here in St. Louis. Whether you're, in the city, the county, or St. Charles, she understands that each area has their own price range, and specifically the zip codes have their own price range. Gloria Liu is going to walk your home with you, go over some things, maybe talk about a couple of upgrades or some things you can clean up to sell your home faster. Then she's going to have a price for you that's going to get you the most money for your home, but also sell it quickly. And that's what we want. We want to get the good money and get the heck out of the house and move on to our next home. Gloria Liu has to be your first phone call. So please, when you call her, tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number's 314-325-6888. Again, that number is 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit her at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Cardinals Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, it's that time of year again, man. It's starting to warm up. And the sun's getting a little brighter. I can hear the crack of the bat. So spring training is just around the corner.
Yeah, the true pros are doing just a little bit of stretching here and there, getting rid of those winter kinks, getting ready for those days that really count, Eddie. I'm talking about the ones you'll always remember at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Boy, now you got that right. It is all they can do to get ready for the lineup of the delicious eats, man. It's a half-pound Fat Eddie burger. Man, it's a hot chick on a stick, that big Elwood on a stick, and the succulent peel and eat shrimp are sitting over there on deck.
You do know I have to stretch out a little bit before I start hitting that dance floor, listening to that live music 7 days a week on that huge outdoor patio.
Well, it's like any other training, man. You gotta warm up to get that party face on. It's really difficult out there to have that much fun on that warm, toasty patio. Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, it's Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
No contract, no enrollment fee. The time to join Club Fitness is now. Hurry! This special promotion has been extended for a limited time. No contract, no enrollment fee, just results. Join now at clubfitness.us or stop by any of our 19 locations.
This is Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or by going to the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. All the podcasts, of course, brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. All right, boys, what did we learn today? Who wants to go first?
Okay. I learned that Irv the Monkey has made quite an impression on Fast Lane listeners.
Yeah, get him down here.
They talk about him. They make up names about him.
Yeah.
They ask how he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
They miss him, too.
Yep. They appreciate him.
Yeah. Wish I could get him over here.
Yeah, I learned that having an RV is not as simple as one may think. You know, gotta get those flaps taken care of and make sure
Hydraulics.
you unplug it before you leave.
Before you drive away.
Yeah, you don't want to mess.
No.
All over the roads.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good call.
Costs you a lot of money.
I learned that maybe there's some clicks within the room. You hate to see it.
Clearly.
Yeah, right.
Clearly.
You hate to see it.
Yeah,
I thought
dude.
we were like this.
Yeah.
But we're more like,
this.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we need some team bonding
Yeah, maybe.
at Jamie's house.
Yep.
That sounds like
I invited you guys. You turned it down.
Jamie, this is how that division is
What? I invite
created.
you and you don't show?
Well, I'm just saying. This whole divide started with you last week. Just saying it.
Yeah, just go in it next.
What I learned is while some, like our guy Sweet Voice James, who reached out to me on Twitter, some, like my soccer notes, still many others say, hey, keep my game and my sport out your mouth.
You get very frustrated about that, don't they?
People didn't like my soccer notes. Some people did not like my soccer notes, mostly soccer fans. All I can say is I tried. I'll continue to try.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
So all I can do is put in my best effort.
Yep.
And if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
All I want is for you to give me your absolute best, Anthony.
Let you feel that way.
Thank you.
Yes, of course, Jamie. All right. That's what we learned. Marsh, what do we got for criticisms and compliments today?
All right, here we go. From the 636, I have an issue with your snarky comments about promos for Cardinals game. That is not the only reason I go otherwise. Love you guys. Sorry, I said that like it was a run-on sentence. My bad.
Oh, when I said that works for Cardinals fans?
Yeah, like fireworks and bobbleheads.
I should have said, you know what? You never use never. You never use always, right? It's just good practice. What I should have said was some Cardinals fans typically go for the promotions. Not all.
You should have seen the Blues game last night. It was Build-A-Bear night.
Oh, sweet.
The kids'
Mary
night.
and Joseph.
There were kids everywhere.
I'm sure.
You know they have a Build-A-Bear for adults?
Do they?
Yeah.
What's it called? Patricia's?
That's different.
Well, he said for adults.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
I'm assuming, Marsh, you're talking about
Build your
building
own,
a bear.
You know, Carey?
Yeah.
Build your own. Anthony?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's called After Dark Teddy Bears.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm not far off.
Now I'm with
The
Jamie.
Bear Cave by Build-A-Bear. Adult plush gifts.
So does, you know how you have the little heartbeat for Build-A-Bear? What does this one do? Heavy breathing?
Ooh.
Why? They out of breath?
Yeah.
Tired.
No, you click the button that says chew it and do it.
There you go.
That's true.
Bluetooth.com.
Yes. Splashback 2 said, learn Miles Michaelis on X officially rejecting Anthony's boat names. He did again. He got a new boat and still didn't name it. You hate me because you ain't me.
Well, we know he didn't call it Moose.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, maybe
What's happened to him ever since he was on here and rejected it?
Oh, I don't know. A slew of injuries and bad performances.
When he was on here, Carey, I said, hey, you got a nickname. I said, I'd like to call you Moose. It's big dude, Moose Michaelis, And he was shoving. He was pitching really well at the time.
Well, at the time.
And he, scoffed at it.
Yeah.
Pretty heavily. He's like, no.
See, here's the thing
he goes, I'm from Florida. I was like, what do you call it, the manatee?
Yeah, the manatee.
You don't
guess
get to
what? He's
choose
pitched
your
like a manatee,
nickname.
the sea of the cow ever since.
Oh, wow.
Or the cow of the sea. Cow of the sea ever since.
Yeah.
You got it. Eventually.
Go ahead, Carey. Sorry.
No, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
3 stars of the day. Our third star of the day goes to playing footsies at work.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yes,
Carey,
Jamie,
Jamie.
yes.
Nice job.
Carey started it.
Nice
He
job.
had his hand down his pants.
That was like 3 minutes.
It's like, my goodness, Carey.
There's a lot going on over there.
Escalated quickly.
RVs are our second star of the day.
Get you one.
Or not.
Yeah, no, please do.
First star of the day, everyone was crapping on this all day long, especially in the 2 o'clock hour. Anthony's soccer notes.
Thank you, Marsh. I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you.
Soccer notes.
I think we overcame it.
Oh, yeah, we battled through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good teams do.
Darn right. That'll do it for us here in the Fast Lane. We've got an instant replay coming up right now. For Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.